What's up, y'all? I'm in I-78. I'm back once again, and we're gonna take a look at this Derrick Jaxn. Now, I purposely have not been watching any commentary, reviews, the video itself, nothing all week because I want to do this live so that I can give y'all my live, real, honest reaction to what's going on. Now, if y'all remember his soon-to-be ex-wife, because I don't think their divorce is quite final yet. Danae was on about 2 months ago on what is this Dear Future Wifey podcast, telling her version of all about what was going on between, you know what I'm saying, the breakdown as far as her and Derrick's marriage. Excuse me, y'all. That was bothering me. Sorry about that. So I did watch a interview he did last week with Willie Moore Jr. On his podcast, Love You More, and it was quite interesting. On that podcast, he did take, you know what I'm saying, responsibility for, you know, his parts of what was going on. As far as, you're saying, his conduct before the, you know what I'm saying, you know, in the marriage, before the marriage, while they was dating, this, that, and the fourth. And he also, you know what I'm saying, brought a little more clarity on some of the things that we got from, you know what I'm saying, Miss Danae. But now, he also talked about, you know, his upbringing and you know, his relationship with his father, you know, like thereof, this, that, the fourth. But I'll go ahead and get into that. I'll probably do a review on that as well. But he did say some of, you know what I'm saying, all this what Danae was on here talking about was some BS, and that really was not how it went down. And after thorough review between multiple, you know what I'm saying, content creators, we kind of came to that conclusion on our own. But let's go ahead and get into this so I can see what it is Derrick on here talking about. Like real talk. I'm gonna drop the link if anybody want to come on and we can, you know what I'm saying, chat it up. Hey Derrick, how you doing? And we can go ahead and get into this. So let's see what Derrick talk about. Hold up, y'all. That's where I turn the volume off. We struggle streaming. All right, here we go.
Again, that's kind of whenever she found out through the videos and stuff like that. Now, how she told me she found out, I'm not sure exactly if this is it, but she went and got a new phone. It was logged into my Google Cloud because we haven't logged into each other's email, and that allowed her to see everything. And I'm like, again, I'm kind of freaky. So I was recording a lot of stuff. I was just recording a lot of stuff. I like to see it or whatever. I like that better than porn, you know, to TMI. But
you say you like to see yourself.
I like to see myself. I'm inspired by me in that regard. So she saw all of that. And regardless of how she found it, man, I just was like, it's like, what the F am I thinking? She's pregnant and she had to see that.
Love is a treasure chest, but once opened, our hearts become vulnerable.
I went back to Vegas. It was this guy. He appeared as a friend. Sure enough, it led to infidelity.
Alignment can't be ignored.
We talked about certain topics as far as having kids. She didn't want to have kids. And that was one of the red flags.
And I know you desire marriage. So I think it's best you move on with your life.
What you do, Lisa? What you do?
I told him, okay.
She didn't ask me why.
I knew several other women's bodies better than I knew my own. I watched the videos of them having sex, so I would try to imitate that.
No discussion is off limits. Dear Future Wifey podcast brings
you inspire us to try God a little bit more.
Through this platform, I have realized that it's possible. It's possible to love again.
The conversations have really helped me to change my perspective on relationships.
Season 7 is all about tough topics. I'm Laterra Whitfield, and welcome to the Dear Future Wifey podcast. Welcome to the Dear Future Wifey podcast. I'm your host, Laterra Whitfield. Listen, are you still shacking up with us? If you're still shacking up with us, come on, can we get a commitment? Hit that subscription button and subscribe. Make sure you turn on your notification bell so you'll be notified about upcoming episodes. Listen, if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, wherever you consume your audio podcasts, make sure that you rate this video and leave a comment. That's how people hear about us. Thank y'all so much for making the Dear Future Wifey podcast consistently top 10 in relationships on Apple Podcasts. I thank y'all so much. Today's episode, as we talk about tough topics in season 7, this is a person y'all been wanting to have on the podcast. This brother needs no introduction. We're going to jump right on into it. This will be a 2-part series. I'll run both of them consecutively one day after the next. So without further ado, welcome to Dear Future Wifey podcast. My new homie, Derrick Jaxn.
What's going on, brother?
Derrick, listen, man, people been saying, when are you going to come on the podcast?
When I'm going to come on any podcast up until recently.
So what made you decide to go do it?
I'm not really big on coming and doing interviews and talking about myself, but this one is a little bit different because it involves, things that kind of hit closer to home. So I felt like I could contribute something to the conversation.
Before we even get deep all into this. So in the other interview I watched with him on Willie Moore Jr., he said that before he actually agreed to do this particular interview, that he asked them to reach out to Danae and see if she would be willing to come on, because in doing that, he was going to, do his regular interview, but he wanted a segment with her so that they could show this to their kids later on, to show that even though their relationship, didn't work, that they still, can be civil and come together and parent. And she said no, she wasn't doing all of that. So I guess that wasn't good for her new brand she's trying to, put out, because y'all remember she's doing her breakup coaching. So yeah, I guess she figured, walking the walk is not really good business. But I mean, we'll see. But yeah, Derrick, he made some videos, and I don't understand how she got into his cloud anyway. Because I have multiple people, lines on my account, and they can't access my cloud. So I don't even know about all of that. That don't even sound right. But I know you won't see me picking up my phone and messing around and getting in my young man's husband's account, and I see him. I'm not sitting there watching nothing. Yeah, I ain't doing all of that. Not at all. But let's go up in here. But yeah, so she got in the phone and saw the videos and all of that. But didn't she say at some point in the in one of them her interview or whatever, that it was to the point where she was passing the chicks that they was on the staircase together? Like, that's, like, when it was, sharing the apartment or whatever it was, and they really wasn't together or whatnot. I mean, she, was there while the chicks was there and all of this. So seeing this in the phone really shouldn't have even been all that devastating. But again, that's just me. But let's see what he got to say.
Going to be had. I think it's best if it's had with both sides of a story, and one day whenever my children do see mommy and daddy talking about this, I want them to see where we both stand and hopefully how we both resolve things. So that was it, man.
You say mommy and daddy. So your ex-wife or current wife, I know y'all going through whatever y'all going through. Danae was on the podcast. A lot of times people, when I did the episode, I was laughing a lot on the episode. She has this funny wit. She has this I said this little Seinfeld humor.
Yeah.
Was that something that attracted you to her at the very beginning?
Yeah, she had a sense of humor since the beginning, man. You wouldn't think it because she's kind of an introvert.
Right.
So she doesn't feel comfortable talking to new people often, at least she didn't, or in big groups. But like once she gets comfortable or when she feels like she can trust you, she opens up and she's hilarious.
and so that's what happened in my pre-interview with her. I was talking to her. I was like, this girl is hilarious. This girl is funny. So we did on the episode, a lot of people's like, they're talking about serious stuff and they're laughing about it. Why are they? And she was like, Lateris, if you weren't laughing, I wouldn't have been able to do 2.5 hours of an interview with you. It'd have been too heavy. I like the fact that you got my humor. And I said, I bet you that's something that Derrick found attractive in her at the very beginning.
Among other things, man.
Yeah.
For sure.
We say other things like what?
Man, first off, when I first saw her, all I knew was what she looked like. You know? So pretty face, nice shape, all that stuff. But I like that she was kind of like me in terms of like when you look at her, she's not the stereotypical thick, cute black girl, at least, this at 19 years old.
Right.
And when people looked at me, they felt like, oh, he's a jock. And, I think you said that in the interview, matter of fact, which is not bad, but, at the time I was fighting.
Derrick, wait, because I saw them pictures. Hold up, bro. I saw the photos. You wasn't that jockey. No, bro. You wasn't that jockey. Like, I went to high school with some dudes that was was more jockey than you was in college. Like no. What's happening there? Yeah, she did. They lived together. Yeah, they lived together while he was banging other chicks. At one point, she hit, and it's whoo. Okay, so this is girl. Hell no, I'm not hanging it. Well, I pay rent in the closet. Okay, Danae, what else did you do? Because I don't see how you was watching all this activity and knew this is how he was getting down. And I feel like at some point you was a participant. Like, for real. I feel like at some point she was a participant in the festivities, and that's why she mad. I mean, but that's just me. But let's get on back to what he's talking about.
Fighting a lot and stuff like that. But
you said you were fighting a lot.
Yeah, man. I was just, knucklehead, man. He's 19 years old. But beyond the surface, though, I'm a lover. I'm kind of soft. I like R&B music. I read romance novels at this point. I write poetry.
You was doing that at 19?
19 years old, man. So like that version of me that's like, okay, it's not what you see is not necessarily what you get. It's the exact same thing with her. She's not stereotypical. She's like taekwondo and, Justin Timberlake and stuff you wouldn't necessarily think, man. But all of that is what drew me to her. It's like my authentic self just felt safe and at home with her.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel today? I want to check on you as a man. How do you feel as a man?
I feel really good, man. Better every day, but I feel like it's a lot of gratitude these days.
Okay.
A lot of people wouldn't be able to identify with what you may go through on an emotional standpoint, especially have created a platform as large as you created,
mm-hmm.
and then feel the world turn on you. How did you internalize that?
Honestly, man, being everybody's favorite ain't really been my portion my whole career. I mean, at some point, now it's more legitimate because it's behind something I actually did. But in the very beginning, I knew pissing some people, I'm trying to talk crazy. Pissing some people off was going to be a price I was going to have to pay.
You knew that at the very beginning?
Very beginning. And then, before all...
Okay, hang on. Who's turned on him? Can somebody let me know? Because the same folks that was, that's talking about him now was talking about him and saying he was a panderer and a bullshitter way back when, like from the beginning. Like that has been the consensus, and his supporters have been his supporters. So who's turned on him? I'm confused. Who turned? Because I missed it. Y'all let me know so I could be aware. But back to the shenanigans.
All it is, there was some like false rumors. At one point, people thought Danae was white because I showed a picture briefly. I posted my baby girl, my first daughter, Marley, and her hand was wrapped around my finger, and it was so light-skinned. They said, oh, he only dates white women. And I lost followers. I'm talking about it was going viral, all the YouTubers. So honestly, man, since then, I already knew like, okay, people online, they're going to have their thoughts or what have you, and you can't see yourself through that lens. So I really haven't internalized that so much.
A lot of times people, I saw my brother, Willie Moore Jr., he posted a snippet of you about an interview that you were doing with him. That's when this dropped, that would have dropped 3 days ago. And I read the comments. It was like, why are you giving this brother a platform? Why would you do this? And all this type of stuff.
Yeah.
And first, when I read it, I was like, now if I do this interview with them, are they going to feel the same way? I was like, no, like you said, it's a more balanced approach. I had Danae on here. It's only fair to have you on here as well, but not even on that. But even in 2020, you checked your DMs. I reached out to you before all this stuff started imploding.
One of the few.
Yeah. And I reached out to you because I always want to have conversations with Black men, because in the, from your platform standpoint, the stuff that you were telling and helping Black women with was facts. It was no lies told.
Yeah.
What a lot of men.
Whoa. What no lies told? Last time I checked, there's still lies of omission, right? Because Derrick left a lot out and changed a lot of stuff around. So what is this? What no lies told? See, this dude. I ain't feeling you. You shaky. You your hand ain't strong. I'm not a fan, y'all, and I'm trying to figure out if I'm trying to decide if I like this water or not. I'm trying this new Waterloo, this grape. I have been wanting to try this for a while. I don't know if I like it yet. I'm trying to figure that out. What you say, Derek? Not slick can of oil poetry. Roses are red, violets are blue. I'm a liar, and so are you. Wow. Wow. But you know what? Sad part is it's a sector of women who you got, like, that's all they want you to do is lie. Just lie. What do you say? Lie to me. Just lie to me. And that's the type of time they on. So I mean, again, one thing I have noticed in my quite a few years of adulthood, you men know who to get. Depending on what it is, y'all know what woman to get for what it is you're trying to do when it comes to foolishness. When it comes to being on some for real, it take y'all a little bit longer. But when y'all just want to play around and screw and do your thug fiddle or whatever it is you do, excuse me, y'all know who to go get for that. Y'all got radar for damaged women. Like, I've seen it. It's a excuse me, I got the hiccup. It's unreal. But yeah, y'all know who to go get. But let's get on back to this, because he told a lot of lies.
Took gripe about is that they like, oh, not only are you telling the secrets or whatever, but they kind of felt like you were pandering to black women for your benefit. What would you say about that?
Well, we kind of have this bro code, and it's got us in the chokehold. And the bro code is all about having a man's side no matter what. Yeah. No matter if we wrong or what have you. And I think personally it's created a generation of coddled men that can't take correction from anybody, no matter how soft.
Hold the hell up. Hold up. Now, hold it, because now in the interview, I'm gonna have to do a compare and contrast, because this what he talking about here is not what he was saying on the interview with Willie Moore. Like, he was talking about, what I'm saying, he understands it's a bro code, but he what I'm saying, since he didn't really have no bros around him growing up, and his daddy went there and this, that, and nobody taught him the bro code, so he was not versed at all in bro code. Now he sit up here talking trash about the bro code. How you talking trash about something you don't know nothing about, Derek? How this work, Derek? Stop the games, Derek. I can't. Yeah, I'm with you, Derek. Yeah, this dude is on here now. He already in how far we in this? He already in direct contradiction with what he said on the interview before. And hell, that was only a couple of days before he did this interview. You can't keep this. You can't stay on code for more than 2 days, bro. Seriously. Like, I literally watched that one with and took notes. And you said you did not know the bro code. You knew it was one that existed, but nobody taught it to you, so you did not know about it. So when you be up on there making them videos, you wasn't worried about the bro code because you ain't know what it was. Now you won't hear with the okay. Let's go on back.
Off it is or balanced it is. So when I'm saying all of this, of course there's different layers to it. Some of them think, oh, it's because he wants vagina, because he wants money or what have you. But man, I was raised by a single mother around 2 sisters. Naturally, I lean towards the woman's point of view on things. Anything else would be disingenuous. And it's not that everything that I'm saying is necessarily right, but it's how I see things. And then if you take from that, just say, your interview with Danae, you were speaking in a way that was protective as her brother, empathetic. You was calling wrong. That wasn't you pandering.
Right.
You per the situation that you speaking on, this is the truth. Right. But whenever you're telling the truth that makes people uncomfortable or a truth that's not popular, they're going to look for a way to attack you either way it go.
I can respect that. I asked you, I said, Derrick, if you were given the opportunity to name this episode, what would you name it? And what did you say?
Reap what you sow.
Why? Why'd you say that?
I think whenever I've talked about these different rules and what have you, some people take from it like, okay, he's promoting perfection. We're going to mess up sometime. And my whole MO has been like, okay, if you're going to mess up, you just got to understand that come with consequences. You reap what you sow. Even whenever I started mentioning God, I gave my life to Christ February 4th, 2020. And people were like, oh, you can't bring God into it. I'm like, the God I serve says you reap what you sow. And I'm no exception. You know, even as I'm saying it, I'm living it too.
Yeah.
You know, and that goes both good and bad. But, you know, I think if we're all aware of that, we can walk according to that instead of thinking we get it out because we had our intentions or what have you. For the time I spent in my patterns and the things that I'm not proud of, I gave myself an out. I gave myself excuses. Well, I felt like this and she did that. And I wasn't operating according to where you reap what you sow.
Yeah.
Not what's sown by your partner, not what's sown by the circumstances, and your daddy wasn't there. So if I'm going to talk about it, and I'm going to really be real, we got to speak with that at the core of the message.
I respect that. Let's go back. I want to go back to find out who Derrick was. Who was Derrick growing up? Like you said, I hear you just mentioned that you grew up in a single parent home, raised by a mother around sisters. What did that look like growing up? And why wasn't your dad present?
So my daddy just got in a lot of trouble. You know, my mama and daddy was in their early 30s, about my age now. So he's from Jamaica. He had gotten into some trouble, got deported very early on. Actually, when I was 4 years old, but he wasn't in my life since probably age 1. So my mama, coming from somewhat of a background that she didn't want us to be a part of, she moved down to Alabama. Me, my 2 sisters, and actually my older brother, but he was so much older, he moved out pretty quickly. And man, I just grew up. It wasn't objectively bad, but the story I created from the dynamic of not only daddy not being there and not having answers, but my mama working 2 to 3 jobs year round, I just felt invisible, you know, because like, again, I was really living with my 2 sisters and they connected to each other a lot better than they did me. Yeah. Everybody loved me, to be real with you. My mama loved me and they loved me. But then when mama get home from work, she need time just to be a human being. She got her own battles. So as she's trying to give herself, she's really stretched thin. And then on top of that, again, she barely connects with me. I'm missing my daddy. So a lot of my childhood, man, was just feeling invisible, feeling somewhat abandoned, even though objectively that wasn't what was going on. That was a story I had created. And then I acted out to get a lot of attention.
How'd you act out?
School. I was the knucklehead that made it really hard to find a babysitter. You know, they just knew it. Bud was my childhood name. Bud gonna act up. Bud don't like to listen. Bud just needed some attention. And Bud knew it. The world is going to stop if I get in trouble, if I talk too much, if I get out my seat, if I do this, that, and that. So I got whoopings and all that stuff. But it was really my way of getting attention. So that was pretty much my childhood. Again, my mama, a single mom. She made everything stretch how they needed to. She taught me basically everything up until I got to 10th grade. And that's when I had my stepdaddy, Mr. Lloyd, rest in peace. He
right, hold up. Okay, because he gets in it. Yeah. Okay, so the problem is you had an older brother and 2 sisters. So you was the 4th kid. So your mama didn't figure out between 1 and 4 that what she was doing wasn't working? All right, now y'all keep in mind the definition of insanity is doing the same thing, expecting different results. So you 4 kids in and you ain't figured out what you're doing, don't work. And if his daddy got deported, never mind. He needs some masculinity. And if you learned everything you know from your mama, no wonder when you in this situation, you don't know anything but emotion. Gimme. I need. I feel. You learned how to feel. You feel too. You felt too much, bro. You do too much feeling, and that's the problem. But let's get on back up in this. You do too much feeling, too much.
Came into the picture. And he gave me kind of that blue collar work ethic thing. You know, we roofing, we fixing cars, we cutting grass. So that's pretty much it, man.
Did you have any sexual experiences at a young age?
No, never before my first, like, losing my virginity at like 16.
About 16. Mm-hmm. So same as me, lost my virginity at 16. When you lost your virginity at 16, what did that teach you as a man? Was that something that your homeboys was encouraging everybody in the neighborhood? What city did you grow up in?
Enterprise, Alabama. Well, between Elba and Enterprise, Alabama.
Enterprise, Alabama.
Shout out to Alabama right now. You know what I'm saying? We ripping kind of hard. The Montgomery Mollywop representing. Enterprise, Alabama.
Yeah. And so at 16, you end up giving up your virginity. What was that like? What did that teach you?
That when a girl say, come see my hair at 1 a.m, it probably ain't to come see her hair. It was to my next door neighbor, and I don't want to go into detail about it, but honestly, bro, I was just happy to be having sex. I ain't gonna lie to you. It just felt like a rite of passage, you know, because at 15, 16 years old, you still trying to define yourself, be accepted. So this whole time, I wasn't necessarily tripping on sex, but when it came, I wanted to perform.
Yeah.
And I went in, develop. But the reality of how I developed my relationship with sex actually started probably with pornography. That was about 10, 11 years old.
Who introduced you to that?
I won't say his name, but my homeboy.
It was a homeboy.
Back in Elba, Alabama. He introduced me. Matter of fact, I think they were just introducing computers into the school. I'm old. Just introducing computers. So this is before they had firewall and all that stuff. And man, he told me to go on the website, and I went on the website. And from there, man, I won't say addicted, but I was definitely introduced to something way too early.
What do you remember that doing? Because a lot of people don't understand how pornography shapes.
So wait. Y'all was at the schoolhouse? Y'all was at the schoolhouse watching Pornhub? That's what you're telling me? Like, wait. Because again, if you know what I'm saying, computers was just getting it. First of all, I'm older than you. I got a good 10, 11 years on you, bro. So if I was in school playing the Oregon Trail and it was slow as hell, what was y'all seeing? Just so I can be clear. Because I'm thinking back, them Oregon Trail days was, it was compared to what's going on now, it was slow as hell. So I'm trying to figure out what y'all was saying. And how old was your homeboy? And what? Ooh, excuse me, y'all. And what was wrong with him? That he had time to get turned on to the activities. I'm just confused. Let's go back. Folks, this is what happens when you don't raise your kids. But anyway.
The viewpoint of how men see or objectify women.
Yeah.
And I had a conversation with, even my sons, you know what I'm saying? They be online, they'll end up something pop up on these gaming stuff. And I was like, hey, this is why you shouldn't do this.
Yeah.
No one ever had that conversation with me as a young man. And I had a family member that had magazines, and I seen them a couple of times when I was like 12, but I just never did get involved in it. So my question to you is, how did that shape, when you look back, hindsight being 2020, how did that shape your viewpoint on women?
Well, what my therapist taught me was that it actually just created a toxic relationship with sex, period. It became kind of an escape, something to immediately distract me, make me feel less rejected if I ever felt that. So, starting there, of course, it rewires your brain. It desensitizes you and stuff like that. It also miseducates you on what real intimacy is. So it took me well into my adulthood, actually until, I was married, to understand that it's not about performance-based. Whenever you're having sex with a woman, it's connection-based. Mm-hmm. So I went, even having sex in the earliest years, it was about, the theatrics of what I could perform and so on and so forth, man. But especially if there's serious feelings involved, you may leave a woman feeling like a piece of meat when she can tell you wasn't even there with her.
Right.
So not only that, in the times where I wasn't having sex, again, that was my easy out. Like, okay, I know I got porn, I got this, that, and the other. And I wasn't on there like 4 hours a day or nothing like that. But I developed some nasty habits of when I'm really, really stressed or hurt or grieving or whatever.
Yeah.
I can do this and then go to sleep, or I can do this to get my mind. I can break the pattern by doing this. So that was pretty much it, man.
Okay, he sound like he for real been to therapy, y'all. Y'all think y'all think he? What's up, Brian? What's going on? How you doing? Thanks for stopping by. So, he really sound like he been to therapy. So do y'all think he just, picked up them little pieces to, regurgitate, or he really trying to pull it together? Like, what y'all think? I need to hear some more. I ain't quite been enough. Well, I don't know if that's really being a hypocrite or not, because again, like you said, he developed some nasty habits. So I guess he figured, if I go ahead and record it on my phone, it's gonna be, it could have been maybe for him. It wasn't, it wasn't as bad because it was him. I don't know, if he wanted to go back and study it for, future reference, because again, he said he was into, performing. He wasn't into the emotional aspect. He was into the performing. So I don't know what he got going on with that. So you think he lying? Okay. Well, I mean, we gonna see. I hope I don't have no stroke on here because I swear my head hurt. We're gonna see. I'm gonna see how much more therapy jargon I'm gonna get out of this. So we'll see.
You're in college. You go to college. How did you meet Danae?
Math class. She walked in. Then she had on a black colored button up with black slacks.
Take it back on you, bro.
Pretty face, slanted eyes, nice curves. Honestly, it was all physical when I first looked at her. And then I saw her notebook and I saw that she was into music. And I was like, oh, I thought you was like a bottle girl or something like that. You know what I'm saying? No, I was like, I saw the saxophone and stuff like that. So I asked about it. And she had a really soft voice, somewhat of an innocence about her.
Wait a minute. Wait.
We got to talking. I got a number.
Wait. Because didn't she say that she was his tutor? Did she say that in her interview? That she was his tutor? My memory's pretty good. I think that's what she said. So this is a complete variation from what we got from her. But let's keep going because maybe he'll get to that.
Didn't immediately answer later on whenever I called. I think I called 3 times. So she don't answer this time. She answered on the last ring. And from there, man, we talked through the night. We did all of the stuff that we think about in high school and college, like on the phone overnight. We were inseparable, man, for like that first 2 months. Just again, people looked at me a certain way, and I was misunderstood. But with her, even being goofy and bubbly, like my personality is naturally I'm usually the jokester.
Okay.
So between that and I had an interest that most guys would think is soft. Again, I love Terry McMillan and Eric Jerome Dickey books. I love R&B. I work out to R&B to this day. You know what I'm saying? On the way home from football games, I was writing poetry. Coincidentally, Dear Future Wife post, man, back in the day. You can you can search on Twitter right now, put in hashtag Dear Future Wife and Derrick Jaxn. You'll see from 2010. I was on. So all of that soft stuff, she didn't judge me for, though. She loved it. She loved my poetry. She wrote poetry. Mm-hmm. And one time, this is when I knew it, oh, this is the one right here. I told her when I was younger, we loved peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Didn't know that's how mama was making that money stretch, but I loved it. It was a delicacy to me.
You better talk about it.
She, before practice one day, she was like, I need to see you. I was like, okay, for football practice. And she ran up to me with 2 sandwiches, one with white bread, one with wheat bread, and said, I didn't know which one you was going to like, but I know you like PB&J.
Really?
I called my mama on the way to practice. I said, Mama, I found the one. Go and get your dress ready. It's going down. This is at 19 years old, man. So we could joke.
We had them at peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Man, look, a sense of humor. Of course, she was sexy and all that stuff. But she
started off tutoring you, right? She said something about tutoring you.
That was a segue. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to figure out how to get close to her.
Oh, so you used that?
I used it. I ain't gonna lie to you. I used it. I need help. Now I did, but that wasn't the reason why I chose her as my tutor. They had other tutors, you know what I'm saying? One girl, she had like a pimple by nose and stuff like that. I was cool on that. I want this one right here.
I want this one.
And so, yeah, man, we continued to connect and talk and be inseparable. And, you know, it didn't take long at all. I think within like a week and a half, 2 weeks, we were inseparable, holding hands everywhere. Went on dates. I ain't even had no money for a date. I ain't had no money to pay for my own food on the date. And then the first night that I asked her, I think it was on Valentine's Day of 2020, I asked her if she would be my girl. We went on a bowling date.
Not 2020.
No, not 2020.
Yeah.
Shoot, 2009. That year is so crazy to me.
Yeah.
2009, February 14, 2009. I asked her to be my girl after a bowling date. She said, yeah. Then I asked her to come with me down to the lake so we could pray over our relationship. It's the first time.
Hold on. At 19, you talking about you pray.
Whoa. Did he just say they went to the lake so he could pray? So he could pray over their relationship. Okay. So he prayed over the relationship and it immediately turned to shit. And you gonna stay? Mm-hmm. Okay, sound like God wasn't listening to me. Yeah, I'm gonna leave that right there.
Praying with
I was actually you probably won't believe this. I was actually an average churchgoer, man, at that time. I was doing my stuff,
Right,
but I also went down to
good.
Mount Olive Baptist Church down in Tuskegee and was front row every single Sunday.
Really?
Yes. I was a devout churchgoer. The year before that, I did a mission trip out in Atlanta ministering to the homeless down by Peachtree. So, she came in, I was still in church, you know what I'm saying? So I wanted to pray. I was so scared.
You wanted to pray over y'all relationship.
I didn't know what I was doing. I never felt anything like that. I never felt like I really was in love, because I had a hard time letting people close to me because I experienced a lot of loss. So I could engage. I'm an extrovert when it comes to meeting people and talking, but actually letting somebody in, she was the very first person outside of my family I had done that with. So, man, we prayed by the lake. I led the prayer. And then we was like, all right, God, I need your help because I don't know what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
You said you were afraid.
Afraid.
Because you've never allowed yourself to open up like this with a woman before. You said you've experienced loss. When you say that, you're talking about what? Your father not being present? What are the losses that you incurred?
Mostly my father, man. And then my grandmother was a tough loss. And I learned really with that, and everybody lost somebody, but I learned with that, I'm horrible at grieving. I don't do well with that. And I learned later on in therapy it's because of how I internalized my father's loss. I had so much meaning I put to it as far as like what that means for me. Like, I'm not worth calling. I'm not worth checking on. I'm not worth doing the right thing so you don't have to be taken from me.
Yeah.
And then my mama, she had a thing that she would do from I'd say up to about age 7, where she would tuck me in and say, "Good night, Mr. B," because Bud was my nickname. And then mama got a boyfriend one time and she stopped. And for me, I mean, it was dramatic, I guess, but I said, oh, she don't love me like that anymore. Dang. Right. So now I grow up and I'm really guarded. I'm really good at just going inward when I have something wrong with me, et cetera, not letting people get too close. Even girls like, oh, I can smash, or we could do whatever, we could talk, but I'm never going to give you my heart.
Yeah.
But with Danae, none of them guards stayed up. So I was scared because I know like I'm feeling something I've never felt before and I don't want to mess this up. I know she's too good for me. So like, God, help me become somebody I'm not, because I don't know what I'm doing here.
So during that time, you wasn't the type to be monogamous, was you? You just said
I didn't have no relationship to be monogamous in. I was doing my thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and so this one, you just said, why'd you want to give it all up for her?
I felt something with her I never felt before, but it was emotionally based. Looking back at it now, it's like, man, I was so unprepared. And for something like that, you don't know how important that role is, you gonna play in somebody's life where you're gonna give them your heart and they're gonna give you theirs.
Yeah.
You hand somebody the keys to your sanity, your physical health, and so many other things. But we were taught later, if you love somebody, you just go be there. And you trial and error. And there's a high price to pay for trial and error, as we both learned.
So as y'all were dating each other in college, what that looked like? Were y'all what grade were you in at the time?
I was a sophomore. Second year, she was a freshman.
All right, so sophomore and freshman, second year, and you were like, this is my woman. Were you exclusive with her during that time?
The first couple of months I was exclusive. I don't know if I ever had the proper boundaries, but for me, it was like, of course, don't cheat. Don't go sleep with another girl. But I would say after that honeymoon phase, the first 2 months is when I can remember. I don't remember the exact thing, but I remember feeling really rejected by her. And I didn't know what was behind that because, okay, I don't have aggressive energy towards a woman except in intimacy. And so how I would express my affection oftentimes was aggressive. Like, I want to pick her up. I don't just kiss her. I pin her up against the wall, put my hand around. I'm not trying to get graphic. There's context here. So, I come up behind her and hug on her, kind of aggressive. But that would make her really, really shut down. And I didn't know what was going on. I felt rejected. Like, why you don't want to kiss me? My breath stink or something like that. So we would have, and not only would she shut down, then it would be tension. It would be almost hostile. So again, this wasn't until about a month and a half, 2 months in, where it was like, now it's back-to-back things. Now I come up on the kiss her and she like kind of pushing away. She can't stay far enough away from me. She's kind of mean towards me. And it's kind of a flip side. And I didn't know part of what I was feeling didn't have nothing to do with the relationship. It was much deeper. But I remember like, man, my breath getting short. I'm like, what is going on? Like, I ain't never been so sensitive to rejection because we all get rejected. But this the first time I felt that. And what felt safer was to go out and at least have friendships with other girls. Just the conversation felt like receptiveness, like acceptance again. Mm-hmm. But those loose boundaries turned into no boundaries. So, if we continued to clash and she continued to pull away or what have you, and I'm not getting no answers or whatever, I'm, especially in my prideful state, I'm thinking, man, she got me effed up. So I'm over here doing the right thing, and she over here acting like I ain't nothing. So now there's a party tonight, or there's a girl on campus, and then she got her own dorm room. And that's whenever I started messing around.
Which is interesting.
Okay, hang on. Okay, so we found out in her interview what was going on with all of that. But see, this is why I tell people, if something happens to you that's traumatic, like what happened to her, don't sit on it. You got to get it off you. You can't, because it just, at that point, if you hold on to it, it just infects every part of you. Like you got to tell it. You got to get it off you. You got to, you know what I'm saying, get some support, because like I have talked to a lot of people, and seen a lot of, you know what I'm saying, stuff that one of their biggest impediments to, you know what I'm saying, healing is not having support. And they didn't have any support because they didn't tell it. Like all of that, they ain't gonna believe me. You know what I'm saying? They this, they that shit don't matter. You have to, you gotta get it off you. You gotta, it happened. What am I gonna do? There's somebody somewhere that's gonna give you some support. Might not be who you know what I'm saying, expect it to be, or who you want it to be, but it's gonna be somebody that's gonna give you some kind of support. So you gotta tell it. Y'all gotta quit waiting 3, 4, 5, 10, 12, 30. Like I was watching My 600-Pound Life last night, y'all. And the girl that was the woman that was on, she was 50-something years old, and she was molested at like 8. She didn't tell it till she was 40. By that time, she was so messed up. Like, nah, tell it. Tell it. What old people say, tell the truth and shame the devil. Tell it. Get that shit off your chest. Get it off your chest. Get some healing. Somebody somewhere understands. Somebody somewhere has been through that. They know, you know what I'm saying, how you feeling, what you're going through, and how they, you know what I'm saying, you can try to work to, you know what I'm saying, resolve some of that. I mean, like, you're never going to be able to undo it, but you can definitely, you know what I'm saying, put yourself in a position to get some support. And that's paramount. It is in any type of trauma. Support is paramount, but you can't get support if you don't ask. And that's what it is. So you end up in this type of situation that they was in. He's sitting here, you know what I'm saying, traumatized and in need. She traumatized and in need, but there's nobody's voicing what's going on. So, you know what I'm saying, the trauma's manifesting, and you know what I'm saying, for her, it was fear. Him, he was perceiving it as hostility and rejection, and you got this going on. Just, yeah, y'all get that shit off your chest. That's all I'm saying. Get it off your chest and get some help. But let's go back.
And now I realize something. You were trying to be on the straight and narrow, and that aggressive personality that you had, because she told me, well, she told us on the podcast that she had experienced a rape 2 weeks before y'all met.
Yeah. So she, and
you didn't know nothing about.
I didn't know about that till 5 years later.
Exactly.
I don't know if she wants to speak on it, so I won't go in depth, but there was another instance of rape in that same 30-day span before she met me.
Wait a minute.
So I didn't know to the level or at all that I was dealing with a rape survivor. Even if I knew that, I probably wouldn't have known how exactly to handle it.
That, yeah.
But certain forms, and we covered this later on in our marriage therapy, but because this was a pattern. This everything that happened that was really painful was really one long repetitive pattern.
Right.
Me feeling rejected for this, that, and the other, and she handles, becoming okay again a certain way. But I didn't know certain forms of affection that were natural to me just felt scary to her, put her back in a certain space where, certain things that happened. So, yeah.
And that's so interesting. It's like, I'm getting understanding. It's like you have this woman who has experienced this huge violation of her body, her soul, her spirit, this brokenness. She meets this guy who she says she just loved the mess. She loved your dirty draws. You're wanting to show your affection. You grabbing her by her neck. You being aggressive physically, from a sexual standpoint. She's getting nervous. She's getting triggered on all levels. Don't even realize that she's been triggered like this. She's closing up rejection to you because you've experienced that growing up. Mom no longer is kissing you and tucking you in bed at night, rejection. So now you're like, well, now I'm going to go self-medicate. I have this history of looking at porn, and now the way I self-medicate is watching this. So now I'm going to do the outward extension of that.
Yeah.
Now I'm over here hanging out with girls. One thing leads to another. Now you over here smashing. Now it's triggering her. How did she ever find out when you first cheated on her?
Well, we were both triggering each other and didn't know it. Right. I was triggering her with my affection. She was triggering me by pushing away. I didn't just continuously, because I had this weird thing, man, where I would do it and feel guilty.
Would you tell?
Man, I'm tripping. No, heck no.
Okay.
No. So I would do it and be like, oh man, all right, you messed up, you did your thing. Again, bro, we kids at this point. We're 19,
so would the girls be running back to it?
Nah, they didn't do that either. I don't even know if those particular girls knew we were together.
You walked around holding hands on campus?
Not all of them was on campus. Not all of them was on campus. Yeah. We're talking, I'm trying to dig back because this is 15 years ago.
That was a long time ago.
But I remember, I don't know how she knew. I don't think the original one or two or whatever she knew about, but I know we had a falling out because her and her friend, she suspected or something. Her and her friend used to have this thing on Facebook called Honesty Box. And it was where basically you send anonymous messages or whatever. So her and her friend had set up to send me anonymous messages to try to see if I would bite on the bait of another girl trying to flirt with me or something like that. I would have this, and it's again pattern. I'm cheating, now I'm faithful. Now I'm cheating, now I'm faithful. So in this point, I was faithful. Yeah. I'm like, oh, no more girls. I felt terrible. That ain't it. We done made up or something like somehow we get to talking and we back in love again. So this honesty box message is coming in. I'm like, nah, I'm good. Nah, I got a girl. And then I'm hearing ding in the other room. I'm at, we got a apartment here. Yeah. And I'm like, so I sent another message, ding, went into the room, her inboxes. And I'm like, oh. So we fell out. She suspected me of cheating at that point, but she wasn't right about that. Yeah. And then from there, man, it was kind of all downhill because we got into a really bad argument and, all this other stuff.
Well, she said that in the times that she would catch you back in college, she would never tell you anyway. She would go in the closet and cry, and then you'll come, be like, hey, everything cool? And she'll be like, yeah, everything fine. Well, she'll say, it's my dad. I'm grieving the loss of my dad.
Yeah, that was a communication style, period. Okay, without cheating, I may say something that offended her. I learned later on in therapy with her that sometimes my facial expressions while I'm listening would trigger her because I think her dad or something like had that going on. So a million things could be wrong with her, but then again, this dynamic of I'm begging for her to tell me what's wrong, and she don't. And I could take rejection maybe 1 or 2 days, but after 2 or 3 weeks or 2 or 3 months, now I'm starting to check out and detach without actually leaving. So it wasn't just the cheating that she wasn't talking about. She literally, if she had an issue, she held it in until she blew up.
She said that. She said she's...
Hang on. See, wait a minute. Y'all niggas was doing this every 2 or 3 days of drama. I ain't built for this. I'm not built. Y'all needed therapy way before y'all met. But I'm going back to this. We done got great twice in a 3-week span. How this work? I mean, I'm serious because I no. My hat's off to all the survivors because I can't do it. You gonna have to kill me or I'm gonna kill you. Either way, I ain't gonna be the same. So I'll just be different because I done had to take you out. But I'm not gonna be different because you done took my no. I told my parents a long time ago, y'all getting 1 or 2 calls. 1, put the house up to get me out, or 2, y'all gonna have to come identify me because I can't do it. I can't do it. No. I'm serious. Hats off to y'all. I can't. Them the 2 you gonna get. 1, you gonna have to come get me out, or 2, you gonna have to go and ID me. I can't. So I'm just trying to figure out what. That goes back to what I was saying about support. See, if she had been getting some support for what happened the first instance, because she talked about that, then we probably wouldn't have been in a situation for the second instance to take place. But I'm interested in how that happened, because that is a lot. And for her to hang on to that and not say anything, and then still try to be in a relationship with him. Like, if we're gonna be for real, that really wasn't fair to him, because she was in no condition to be trying to be in a relationship with anybody. So it sounds like to me that she was hell bent on making this relationship work, because she was using this as validation of, you know what I'm saying, even though, you know what I'm saying, I've been, you know what I'm saying, violated, a man still gonna want me the way I want him to want me, is what it sounds like to me. Because that's a whole lot. A whole lot. Okay, let's see. Let's recap. He was cheating on her since college, made triple X videos and she watched them. Cheating in their marriage, smashing other women in the same house. Nope, you didn't miss nothing. You got it. That's, yeah. Yeah, that's what, yeah, that's pretty much, yeah, you spot on. Hang on. Yeah, I see, like I said, this goes back to you need some counsel. Like, honey, you need some. Oh, what am I doing? No. Yeah, There's too much happening. That's a lot. Okay, y'all. We gon' let's get on back up in there. Because this is
Well, she held something in like 10 years and then blew
a lot of stuff, man. It wasn't just that. It was a constant thing of, communication is key, but you're not communicating. And so I'm over here begging, trying. Because sometimes I'll be doing stuff and I wouldn't know it was bothering her. So for instance, I was kind of a flirt. So I would say, hey, beautiful, or whatever to a girl, think nothing of it. But then she would hear that and be like, you call me beautiful. So understandably, she's offended. She's upset. Like, what, you tripping. Like, don't play with me like that. But she don't say anything. So she wasn't vocal, but she was expressive. Because it ain't like she just didn't talk. She showed that she was upset, but it was with, again, rejection, hostility, name calling, walking off middle of conversation. And that go on for weeks up until I pull away. Then she gets suspicious. One pattern over the next for the next however many years.
So when y'all graduated graduated college, what was the state of y'all relationship? Y'all still
we had
together?
just broken up. So I found out about her and a gentleman. I think she mentioned on the last podcast.
She said that she was trying to get you jealous or make you jealous about a coworker that she said we created this thing to make it look like this is somebody I was dating to make you jealous. But
we remember that differently. If I pick that cup up and I pour with the contents in it in my mouth and I swallow, did I make it look like I was drinking? So we've always differed on this, by the way. So I'm not trying to just stir nothing up. No. So I had a nonprofit when I was in college. I wanted to tutor and mentor, all this other stuff. So one of the things we did was we held events. I had a Christmas event that was like that previous December toward the end of college. And I had saw her and the gentleman, the young guy, speaking for like an hour. Now, up until this point, Danae had always like tried to kind of be perfect in my eyes. Like, I think she thought if she ever showed a flaw or whatever, I would just leave or something like that. So I was like, this is bold, at my events, like hundreds of people in there, but I can see her just chatting it up. So from December all the way until we graduated that late May or something like that, I had seen the cars together. I had seen all these different things.
And it's the coworker that she had.
Yeah, coworker and a classmate or something like that. So fast forward, and I'm thinking at this point, first off, we already coordinated where we're going to work after school. We're going to be in the same state, because I'm thinking like, I'm gonna do this. But at this point, I think it was really a lot of what she had been holding in, because I had been unfaithful. I had cheated and all this other stuff. I think she never fully expressed herself on how that affected her. So at this point, I think it started bubbling up to where she got really hostile. Like, man, I don't care what you say. So she's out overnight. It's like, I went to sleep at the gas station. I'm like, went to sleep at the gas station? Went out again overnight.
Oh, y'all were staying together?
We were staying together.
Okay.
We just started staying together like, we were shacking up like year two.
So you said, so she left the house and then come back the next morning?
To like 9, 10 in the morning. And this was unlike her. She was not this type of girl, but she's wearing makeup now. I know she got some hood rat friends from Sonic where she work, and I know she hanging with them, but I'm like, what is she doing? I'm not sure who's involved. So she did that 2 nights in a row. Then one night I came home. I forget where I was at. I wasn't doing, at this point, I wasn't doing anything. I kept going up and down. Came home in the shower. I came in just like me, bro. I'm very affectionate. My number one love language is physical touch. So first thing I do is get my kiss and hug. She's in the shower. I go right up in there. And while she's in the shower, she's wet. And she's like, and I'm like, what's up, baby? Kissed her, came on out. And the phone is on the counter with the messages up. And he's like, is he home? Can I slide? Da-da-da-da. And I'm looking real quick and I see the name. She jumped out wet, snatched the phone. And I was like,
see, that's too much work.
Oh boy.
That's too much
Went
work.
to the living room. I searched the name on Facebook, saw some stuff. And I was like, that's the guy that she was talking. So long story short, man, that was a big blow up and we broke up. And then years later, I had heard from some people he was around about what actually took place. And that after we broke up, she had went and stayed the night and they did whatever they did. And it wasn't until we were married because we had this thing where, hey, tell it.
Whoa. Cause now, wait, Danae, you said in the interview that you did that you and the guy never did anything, and in fact, the dude was gay. What's this? I mean, you said he had gone on to glory, so, ain't no way for us to verify none of, what you said. But you said y'all didn't do anything, is what you said. Now, he's on here talking about folks that confirm that y'all was doing the do. So, let's get back to you, the victim. Hey, VP, what's going on? Danae. This why you ain't want to come on. You ain't fooling me. This why you ain't want to come on, because we trying to get to the meat. We trying to get to the meat of the matter, and you makes sense now. Okay, all right, Derrick. He might be telling the truth. Not everything. Nobody lies 100% of the time. So I'm just saying something got to be true. But again. I mean, this is the receipts. We'll see, because a lot of people have watched this so far, and somebody gonna call him out for if it's a lie. Somebody gonna call it out. But let's get back, because he say yeah, she say no. We gonna Let's see.
Every sexual experience you've ever had, where we were married, and she finally, after he done died a couple months earlier, said what all had actually transpired.
So she admitted to it.
Well, she did. She said, well, she didn't have sex while we were together, but it was afterwards. Me, I'm like, it pales in comparison to what I did. I am not going to get mad. Like, let's just keep it all the way G, so we can sweep this away and get on to the next chapter. But we had the direct answers. We broke up. We broke up because of that. Her and whoever, I didn't care. I moved on, did my thing. But we stayed in touch, and when she moved where she moved to, we kind of reconnected sexually.
She said that at that point, but first of all, let's go back to her personality, which is interesting because I've come to find out that Naya said she used to be a fighter. She used to swing on people. She said somebody came to that job one day, she done fought people. She
I didn't know that part of her, but I mean, she's spoken of being willing to, but I didn't know that part of her.
Yeah, she said she was known to throw hands, and I was like, really? I was like, she's like, oh, yeah.
Got a lot of tricks up her sleeve, a lot of surprises. Box of chocolates, man.
She said she threw hands. And so now y'all moved to y'all's respective cities. What city was that? Was this when you moved to Atlanta?
I was in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. No, we went to North Carolina first. Okay. Well, and then she was in South Carolina.
And y'all were both single during that stage?
Very single.
You doing your own thing, she doing her own thing.
Her own thing.
But then y'all would just smash every now and then.
Every now and then. But then I would say this lasts about a year and a half. So if she needed me, I came and like say for instance, one time I worked a 9 to 5 at the time. I was at work, but she had felt really ill and she didn't have no family down there or nothing like that. And I came back, I flew back and I just drove. It was like a 5-hour drive. I drove down there. And I stayed with her that weekend. So anytime she needed me, she ain't had no furniture, I would help. If she needed to do this, I would help. That was kind of how we, how we did things. But we were still sexually engaged whenever I did come.
Would that be defined in today's standards as a situationship?
That's fair to say.
Or just somebody I'm just smashing because a situationship is more so as it's understood that we're exclusive with each other, but we don't have the title. This sounds like more of I understand you got other people you messing with and vice versa, but you know, we'll hook up.
I would say after the first year, when we kind of really started up with, I'm coming in, I'm operating as a boyfriend, or she's operating as a girlfriend, daily calls and texts and check-ins and stuff like that, but still undefined.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's fair to say situationship. Either way, it was a blur line mess.
And when y'all got ready to move to Atlanta, was that a conversation that y'all had that y'all were going to move together?
First, she was going to come up to where I was at in North Carolina. My whole goal was to get down to Atlanta. My whole life goal was to get down there and driving distance to my mom and them.
Where your mom live in Atlanta?
Alabama. So she's like a 4-hour drive away. So I never had plans of staying too far away. I always wanted to be close with family. But yeah, we had that conversation. Like at some point, you know, especially as we get back together, we're going to be down in Atlanta together.
So when at the birth of, at what stage and age did the birth of the Derrick Jaxn that we see on social media, when did that emerge?
It kind of started, I would say, about 2012. I can't say social media because now I talk a lot about relationships. I didn't start off with relationships.
What were you talking about?
I was talking about police brutality. I was kind of like one of them online activists.
Oh, really?
My first time going viral. My first time on that.
Baby Jason Black. Wait, you was Baby Jason Black. I'm gonna find the brutality videos, y'all. I'm gonna find them. We're gonna talk about that one day. Cause why would anybody care? I mean, ain't no other way for me to say that but to just say it. Why? Who cares? And why? But let's proceed on. These are here the activists. Would you wait? No, because I got a whole nother question. So you out here on the activist tip, what you been through to spark the I got to be an activist. I need to get the message out to the people. We got to put an end to the injustice. What you go through, Derrick? Let me know. Somebody let me know.
National television. I went on CNN. I was speaking on behalf of Walter Scott Bush. My first time going viral, it was about Trayvon Martin and Rachel Jeantel and those folks.
That's what you was doing?
That was my first thing. That's the first thing I went viral with. So the first like 50 to 100,000 people that was on my page, and I only separated it because I didn't want people on my personal page aggravating, you know how racist it is.
Yeah.
So I created a separate page where I was talking mostly about that. Occasionally I was sprinkling relationship stuff because I was always a lover. I always loved love and talking about love. But
that was 2012.
This was 2012, 2011, 2012. When I first went viral, I went to work and I saw like 15,000 people liking the page and so on and so forth. I ain't know nothing about it.
Yeah.
But I was just speaking my piece on whatever I felt was true. But then that became too heavy. It was like, it's so dark and it induces this helplessness. And I don't know how people do it now where they get up and talk about that every day. It's not that it's not important. But anyway, I was just like, I kind of want to stick to just the lovey-dovey stuff, man. So I kept posting my poetry and, you know, Dear Future Wifey, you know, and all that stuff. But people, like now I got like 75, 85,000 people are looking at my page. And now what they see is at least relationship conversation. And so then they would ask questions. And that's whenever, I don't even know what year that was. That had to be about closing on 2013 sometime. And I wasn't trying to give like this expert point of view. I was just more like big brother. You know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, this is what it is. I'm not no knight in white shining armor, but this is the truth on what you're talking about. And so they begin curating more of the conversation now, the DMs, the comments and stuff like that. And little by little, they started going viral.
Okay.
And so you...
Hang on. We got to guess. All right, hold up. VB up in the spot. What's going on, VB?
You.
Hey,
so to answer your question, right? The reason why a lot of people jumped online and wanted to be these quote unquote activists, because you got to look at what's going on during that time. You had Trayvon Martin jumped off, Jordan Davis, Marissa Alexander, Mike Brown. So a lot of people decided I got something to say too around that time. So that's where that was around that time period, 2012, that he's talking about.
Okay.
That makes sense.
I'm just saying, but then he didn't have the dedication to stick with it. So,
well, you know, I mean, he's a good-looking guy, so he started finding out there's a market. People want to hear what I got to say, well, no matter what it is, because the way I look. And then the transformation started happening.
Okay. All right. Well,
I mean, he's the prototype of what women describe: tall, dark skin, handsome, muscular. You know, he's that.
He's literally gone through the butterfly to swan transformation because this
you know, I mean, just like the BLM fix, he took advantage of that space that got created. You know, you know, because that BLM was jumping off too, and the LGBT rainbow people, right? You know, reading rainbow people, they got a lot of attention during that time too. And remember, this is the Obama years, you know.
Oh yeah.
So a lot of that space was created.
Yeah. All right. Let's see what else he got to say. Because so far, he really, he been talking, but he ain't really saying nothing. But let's see what else he got.
You were intentional enough to say, "Let me leave this other stuff alone." And then focus my energy on love and relationships.
Yeah, I honestly, bro, just like everybody else get on social media to post whatever's important to them, that's what I did. The only difference is my voice started resonating, relating to people. And I think I'm probably a bit more bold than most.
What was the style? Were you doing it? Was you on the cell phone like you've become known for? Or did you have cameras? Like what were you doing during that time?
It was written at first. It was all written. Everything was written up until 2014, 2015. My first, actually, I was a romance novelist. The first couple of books were Cheating Man's Heart 1 and 2, inspired by, I'm sure it's a huge surprise. And then from there, I wrote poetry because, again, I'm just staying true. Some people were trying to push me into expert land. I'm like, y'all don't know. I just effed up everything. I ain't the one. But then when I got down to Atlanta, this is 2015-ish. Me and her just broke up all over again. People have been stealing a lot of my content. And I was like, enough of that. So I started making videos, Snapchat videos. And then those went even more viral than the written stuff. So that's how that happened. It was on my cell phone. I ain't have none of these beautiful lights and cameras or nothing like that. But I was able to impact a lot of lives, even just with I think it was an Android at that.
You got something.
That's all you need, dude.
I'm just saying, everybody be shady.
Now you woke up and chose violence. Now
people are Samsung phobic, right. So
we had a great conversation until you had to go attack Android. Now interview over. I'm sure.
Triggered you.
Yeah, triggered me. You iPhone people. And so you start doing this content. And so what kind of feedback did you get from your brothers? Like dudes that where they like, man, come on, man, what you doing talking about this stuff or this? Like your inner circle, how did they receive it?
My inner circle knows me. They know, first off, I'm kind of soft. Like, I always liked things that most people didn't like. Okay. I watch a little bit of sports, but not big on sports. I always loved love. Whenever we used to freestyle back in the day, I was always on love topics, all that kind of stuff. So
really?
Yeah. But outside of my inner circle, I got a lot of feedback that I really kind of got with the videos, the comments and all that kind of stuff. Oh, man. But it's just like, bro, true is true. Like, again, like you just think yourself back in the worst of your decisions, whatever they may be. If your female cousin, auntie, mama, sister come and ask you a question about a dude, you're going to keep it straight with them.
100%.
You're not going to tell them, oh, he put his hands on you because you didn't have the food ready when he got home from work. You're going to say straight like, nah, he put his hands on you, but he probably wouldn't talk out of line to a dude the same size as him.
100%.
Cowardly, right? Yep. So that was the perspective. But as people came and piled in, and again, I never branded myself because it wasn't about no brand. I just wanted to do what I was doing full time. So
you wouldn't even know it at that point. You don't know how this could grow.
That was not a thing whenever I first started. Right. It was like maybe 2 guys. I think 1 or 2 guys that was doing it professionally.
Who was doing that professionally?
I want to say Tony Gaskin was one of the ones, and then a brother by the name of Stefan Speaks.
Oh yeah,
they had a thing going on, and I still didn't know their business. So I mean, I didn't know this as a profession. But that was the feedback. But then guys that actually talk to me in real life, we always left the conversation them understanding what I'm saying in full context. So if a woman asks you a question, you're going to speak to that context. Yep. But of course, it's a larger conversation in both sides of the coin.
And when did you start knowing that? When did it click? This can be monetized. Did it happen from your first booking that happened? Somebody said, hey, we want you to come speak at this women's thing about this. You're like, wow, I can get paid for this. How much I charge? $500? What I charge?
Yeah.
What was the first thing that made you say I could get paid for doing what I love doing?
First off, I published my first book, 2013. It was a romance novel, though. There wasn't no advice, 2014, 2015.
What was that called?
A Cheating Man's Heart.
Okay, so that's when you created product.
Yeah, but it was tough to sell because I didn't know how to to show the value in it because I ain't have no quotes in it or nothing like that.
Yeah.
So then I was like, well, speaking. But I was deathly afraid of speaking.
Really?
I got booked for an hour, funny enough, in Mollywock, Montgomery. And I think it was about $400 that I got paid. I had everything up in my mind. I'm going to say it. And I had everything out in 10 minutes. And I had another 50 minutes to go. I was sweating just like I am right now, except I ain't had nothing to say. So I was like, well, speaking probably ain't it. And then I was like, from there, I had to figure out other ways to make money. So, you know, even to this day, my content ain't how I make a living. I have other businesses, but I had to figure out how do I do marketing?
Hold up,
how
I
do
know
I
you
do?
ain't finna wait a minute. I know you ain't finna try to sit up here and convince us that you out here pandering to these chicks, telling them all what they want to hear in the exact manner that they want to hear it is not how you get paid. Because wasn't that the avenue for you to fund all these so-called other businesses was the pandering? But bruh, okay, you lying. You lying. I'm not cleaning none
So
of
the
that up.
time frame that he's speaking is making sense to me. Because remember, back again, 2012, around that period, that was the tail end of like a lot of novelists like Omar Tyree.
Yeah.
Who was real active before that. So everybody was reading Omar Tyree and Zane. And I could do that too.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, I'm saying I believe all of that, but we done bumped up to like 2015, 2016 now.
Yeah, I'm just bringing you forward from what he just said.
His ass was pandering by then.
And then right around that time, Amazon was really pushing self-publication. Back then, because that's why I published my book. Mine came out in 2015. Me Dos Centimos, still on Amazon today. I published my book around that same time. But again, he's not acknowledging his looks. His looks is what got him the attention. It wasn't because he was a great writer. He admitted, I wasn't that great of a speaker and all of that. They were attracted by his looks.
Eye candy.
Right. Because if he had been a fat, ugly dude, we wouldn't even be talking about this right now.
Not at all.
We wouldn't even be talking about this. So it really didn't matter what he said. He chose to pander to women because that got him the most attention. And, they looking at him like, oh, and he's saying what I want to hear too. It was a perfect.
Okay, that makes sense because previously, he was talking about rejection and all that. So that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
So in his timeline,
you keep looking good and telling them what they want to hear. You keep getting the attention, and then that translates, as Jason Black would say, the money was a side effect.
Yep, and I even wrote in my book, Me Dos Centimos, I wrote clicks and likes are gonna turn into money. I predicted it. I predicted it way back then because nobody was getting monetized, and very few of us understood what Google AdSense was. I've had a Google AdSense account since the early 2000s because of what I was doing on Flickr and with my photography. So I was aware of it, in my website design. But then it, like I said, then it started to translate later on in 2015, 2016 into social media. It started creeping into that and merging. So now, I can really make money on this as I predicted it would.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that's making sense. What he was talking about, and let's see what else he got to say.
But it's always funny how
this is just guys
tell their origin.
This is not titillating to me. Like I want some
these guys' origin stories all sound the same. And they leave out a lot of the context of what was happening in the environment already, But believe it or not, Trayvon Martin jumped off a lot of shit, and people don't connect those dots. With Trayvon Martin, how it brought the attention indirectly into the internet into the social media, as it's transformed over the years, you know, I always find it very because I've been around the whole time, so I've seen this stuff grow. But people that just got on it 2017 and they act like they OGs, and I'm like, y'all really don't even know the history, man.
Okay.
But Tommy Sotomayor was operating back then. Heavy. So when people don't give him credit, I'm like, Tommy showed everybody the way. He had a YouTube studio back then. The way people are doing now, making studios in their house, Tommy Ben had one.
Yeah.
Way back then.
Yeah, it's a shame. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, for him.
He gave everybody the blueprint. All everybody doing is following his blueprint.
Yeah.
Nobody's like even taking it to the next level. When you look at Tommy's studio, you can't really say, oh, this person's studio is so much more advanced than his. He's been doing it the whole time.
This is true. Yeah, Tommy was going off last week. I'm gonna get into that too. I say it's so long. I gotta try to.
And he invented a lot of the slang. A lot of the slang that we use now, just like standard, it came from Tommy. You know, the 304s, and he used to call them BT 1000s. He had all kind of slang.
Yeah, Tommy was on it. All right, let's see what else.
That, man, you got to give him his props.
Cornball, yeah, I love me some Tommy. But he for me, he just gotta stop getting sidetracked with this let them dumbass comments get him sidetracked. Like,
well, I mean, we all got our vices and we all got our
I get it, but like he'll take one comment and turn it into 2 hours of going off.
Well, I'll do it at times. Angry man will do it. I mean, we all do it, you know.
Yeah, but he gets into that. He gets into that, and then 1 turns into 2, then 2 turns into 5, and then you look up. He been blasting on people for 3 hours.
Well, like, I think with Tommy is we expect more from him because he's been doing it longer. Mm-hmm. You know, like Tommy, you should be used to this now, bro. You know. Yeah. And I said the same thing to AM. When I was talking to AM, I said the same thing, man. You can't even some of this stuff, man. You gotta let it roll off your back, man. Water on a duck's back, because you done been through it so many times. You know,
this is true. All right, let's see what else he got to say.
Google Analytics and Facebook and YouTube marketing, how to do these other things. Because I'm not getting no money. At that time, they didn't have no monetization for Facebook and all that stuff. So if you didn't have a product to sell, or if you weren't getting brand deals, you ain't making no money.
Facts. Yeah. Did you ever get brand deals?
Not like as a long-term thing. I did a couple of things for like the last OG show and stuff like that.
Yeah, but not like the way it is nowadays where they be like.
I stopped even accepting them because I felt like they would always try to control me. Like my thing is like I can't be bought. I don't care who like what I'm saying. I don't care the feed. Man, look, I'm going to say the truth. I'm not going to be a sellout. And a lot of times the brands would be like, oh, well, you know, you got to take this video down, especially about the black stuff, pro-black stuff. And I'm like, I'm not taking anything down.
Yep.
If I say I love even black women, if I say I love black women, I'm adoring black women, I'm sorry to those whites and non-blacks that get offended, but this is how I feel. So I stopped doing brand deals. And that's why I really learned business so I could be independent with my voice too.
That's real. And so then what initiated the move to Atlanta? You wanted to get closer to your mom, 4 hours drive, that y'all moved together in solidarity, that you say?
We planned it first. She had got a job down there. By this time, I was a full-time entrepreneur, but then we broke up right before we even went down there. We was some making up and breaking up fools. So we went down there separately. She went to stay where she was at in Dunwoody. I forget where I stayed, Dallas, Georgia, something like that. This was another long single season. We had 3 main tries at relationship. One in college, one right after college in North Carolina, and then the one in Atlanta.
And so when you say the single season, how long? I know it's hard to look back at that time. How long were you single and y'all still never just stopped dealing with each other ever,
No.
So we're not official together, but we still gonna be smashing, meeting up to smash. How long did that season last?
Maybe about a year. I would say this was in, I think it was like the second half of 2015. And then we didn't get together and operate as a couple until Marley was just about here. And that was in 2016, end of 2016. So yeah, she went and did her thing. And from my understanding, not just single, like we smashing, but she was on dates with other guys. Nothing wrong with that. And of course I was doing what I was doing.
So is this her comedy when she says, me and the girls, she said, I knew, I like having sex with them. We passing each other, men and women passing each other in the hallways. Is that comedy or for real?
I don't know why she said that. Because I told her a story about two girls passing each other. There's no way in heck I would have her, because I know her temper.
No,
you know what I'm saying? I never seen her fight, but I know her temper. She gonna make stuff uncomfortable. No way I would have her around any other woman that I was actually smashing. But there was a situation I told her. So maybe I think as she was talking, like us, as everybody who's, sleeping with Derrick. But yeah, there were two girls that passed each other up on the staircase. Because I never lied. Like, this is what I'm on. I'm single now. I'm deep in my whole phase. And I'm going to win all-American honors in it.
See, that's what I'm talking about. So if you can be 10 toes down and be honest like that, I can't do nothing but respect that. Because women say that that's what they desire. They like for a man to be straight up honest so they'll know how to move accordingly. And so you're telling me that in that phase, you were straight up like, which she said that it was like that.
There's no perceived relationship. There's none of that. Now, there could have been more etiquette in how I did some of those things.
How? Tell me how you have etiquette.
First off, I thought that was kind of messed up for the girls I had passing each other. I really was in savage mode. And then I think one or two times the nail would see like some condom wrappers or something like that. And I'm like, even though we're not together, she may be doing her thing. We know our history and we know the feelings that we got for each other. And especially whenever she got pregnant. We conceived Marley, I think New Year's Eve or what have you, and going into 2016.
Let's stop, because she got pregnant a few times, Derrick. We gonna not sit up in here and talk like she didn't get on here and confess to these 3 trips to the clinic. So she got pregnant a few times, Derrick. We're not gonna act like, you know what I'm saying, y'all daughters the first time she got pregnant. I'm gonna need you to not do that, sir. That's what I want to hear about. Because you leaving all of that out. So was all of that in y'all single season? Like when was all that taking place? Like I'll meet him and her get to it because right now this kind of good. But let's continue on.
And we continued engaging sexually, but she's pregnant now. And then I was still out here doing my thing with whoever, whenever I felt like it, because we were not together.
Right.
And it was well understood. But again, that's kind of whenever she found out through the videos and stuff like that. Now, how she told me she found out, I'm not sure exactly if this is it, but she went and got a new phone. It was logged into my Google Cloud because we haven't logged into each other's email, and that allowed her to see everything. And I'm like, again, I'm kind of freaky. So I was recording a lot of stuff. Yeah, I was just recording a lot of stuff. I like to see it or whatever. I like that better than porn, to TMI. But
you say you like to see yourself.
I like to see myself. I'm inspired by me in that regard. So she saw all of that. And regardless of how she found it, man, I just was like, it's like, what the F am I thinking? She's pregnant and she had to see that. Single or not, she's pregnant and she had to see that.
Let me ask you this. This is something that she said on the podcast or before, whatever. She's been pregnant by you multiple times and didn't conceive, right?
Yeah. We didn't carry.
Right. It didn't carry. And so when you had Marley, that's the first child?
That was the first.
It wasn't it didn't carry. She chose not to carry. Let's be clear about what's going on, y'all. Cut this. We finna get to the bullshit stage with this.
Well, there are a lot of women who get turned on by seeing the dude with other women.
I ain't one of them.
I hate to bring this up.
Not. That ain't my cup of tea.
Nene would get turned on by seeing me and Andrea together.
You ain't got time for that.
That was her thing, and then later on, of course, talk shit about it. Like I threw it up in her face, like you went looking for it and you kept watching it. Like, why did you watch the whole video? Like, as soon as you turned it on, you said, I don't want to see this, and turned it off. No, you watched the whole video. Like, why did you do that?
Yeah. I'm still back on the she got a new phone and she was logged into his email, because last time I checked, when you go buy a phone and you can already set that bitch up, it asks you about your email. It don't ask you about nobody else's email.
Yeah, that means she had to purposely sign into his Google.
This is what I'm talking about.
Like, you know how it is when you set up a new phone. The first thing it asks you is your Google password. Then it's going to download all your apps and your phone book. So that means she had to purposely go in a second time and add his.
Right. So yeah, I don't want to hear no more.
But they want to. Like, I don't understand. Like, I've never had to go in somebody's phone. I just have no reason to use your phone. I mean, even in an emergency situation, let's say my phone is dead, and I'm like, yo, dial this number for me, or call this. I'm gonna let you dial it and hand me the phone. That don't turn into me going into your email.
Give me your phone. Yeah.
Like, so that's a person who wants to do that kind of stuff. They're purposely nosy. My grandmother always said, if you if you go looking for something, you're gonna find it.
You're gonna find it. Right. Because see, that's where I'm at with that. So I'm like, she found out what you
found what you've been looking for.
Mm-hmm. So I don't,
and you can do that in anybody's phone. I can look through your phone right now and I'm gonna find something that's questionable, even though if I could make it out to be questionable, even though it really ain't.
It's really not.
You know what I mean? I could see you could be texting the UPS guy about your package, like, yeah, so when you gonna get here? I don't have the
turn that into something else.
I don't have the context that it's a UPS driver delivering a package. All I'm seeing is, yeah, what time you gonna be here? Or I'm be there around 6 o'clock. You know, whatever, you know, and I could read into that like, oh, you got dudes coming to see you?
Right.
6 o'clock, you know I wasn't gonna be home. You know, I don't get home to 8. You know,
right.
So like that whole thing could be totally misconstrued.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Especially especially when you say it's other dealings going on. So yeah,
especially when you know you aren't exclusive with a person. Mm-hmm. You're seeing a person regularly, but you ain't got the official girlfriend boyfriend title. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I don't know. Do I want to say this? I'm not gonna say no names, but I was dealing with a woman, and we were seeing each other regularly. We were operating almost like boyfriend girlfriend, but we weren't officially that. Mm. And sometimes I thought that she would throw things in my face I just didn't want to know about. Like, I don't want to hear about you went out with another guy. I don't want to hear about you went to the movies with somebody. Like, why are you telling me? Like, I don't care that you did it, but I do care that you throwing it into my face.
Yeah, they're trying to get a rise.
Like, right. If like you never had mentioned it, it wouldn't have mattered to me one way or the other. But the fact that you're going out of the way, it would tell me stories. Oh, I went over to my homeboy's house and we was playing video games, and all of a sudden, you know, he pulled out his junk and put it in my face. Like that. Mm-mm. Like, how? First of all,
how we get into that?
From playing video games to you got somebody thing in your face. Like, how did the dude feel that comfortable? Obviously, there's more to this than what you're saying. Mm-hmm. Then you just playing a video game with somebody. You know, I don't play video games no more, so I don't understand why people our age are still doing that. You know, you having a video game date? Like, I don't get that, you know. But whatever.
Just do what you do.
But see, I never would play into that game. Like, I always thought like she was trying to get me to admit to some shit I did. But see, women will use that against you later. Even though you did it to me, you told me your little thing, I told you my thing, but mine is going to be worse. In some kind of way, it's going to be thrown back up in my face and used against me later. So I just never would say nothing.
Okay.
It ain't none of your business.
Well, yeah, if you ain't together, then it's not.
Yeah, I mean, we doing our thing. Everything is cool. We flowing like we flow. Why do I need to tell you about this other shit?
But let me put this out there. Okay, so y'all as men, y'all do realize a lot of times that women, you know what I'm saying, agree to that, but emotionally that is not where they are.
Exactly. So that's why I would never say nothing. Because I didn't think she could handle it. I personally didn't think she could handle it. I'll tell you off camera who it was, but and you'll be like, yeah, you're right.
I got an idea.
Okay. So, and then you're probably right. But
I got an idea. But I'm just saying, so I'm just saying, like, especially like, as for what the two of them had been through. There ain't no way y'all done been through all of this, you know what I'm saying, these years and back and forth. That, you know what I'm saying, even in y'all's not together times, she was okay with, you know what I'm saying, him doing whatever.
Right.
Even though it's what came out her mouth, he should have known emotionally that's not where she was. But again, I guess when you ain't together, that really ain't your problem. But my thing is, if you're gonna take that, it's not my problem because we ain't together, then we don't need to be trying to get back together.
I mean, even with Nene early on, right? Because me and Nene technically didn't really go together, quote unquote, until after Dream was born.
Mm-hmm.
Before Dream was born, it was more we see each other when we see each other. I was living in Orangeburg when I first met her, and I was transitioning to Columbia, and she was in Monroe. So I would see her when I saw her, but we wasn't boyfriend and girlfriend. You know, it was like I was just, you know, we would hook up when we hooked up. And but you let her tell the story is some kind of way I was cheating on her. I'm like, how was I cheating on you when we wasn't even going together full time? That didn't happen until after Dream, which with Dream was born in February 2000 rather. You know, we didn't get together till after that, and I tried to get her to come move in with me to Columbia. She didn't want to do that, and so eventually I got the opportunity with McDonald's to move up here to Charlotte. But I was in Columbia. I was fine. You know, but I had friends and I was still working for McDonald's and I was still selling cars. And we had a girl who had moved out here from California for some dude. And the dude started mistreating her and he was beating her bad. I mean, you know, a lot of women talk that abuse shit. This nigga was really whooping her ass. So everybody that worked at McDonald's was kind of looking out for her. So one day she came by, like she was traumatized. She had been beat up. She came by my house. Nene just happened to be there. And Nene was trying to make it seem like I was messing with the girl. I'm like, no, like we're just looking out for her because like we're her family. She don't have no family. You know, she was kind of like, even back in California, she didn't have no family. So we kind of became, the McDonald crew became her family, you know? And I was the closest to McDonald's because I lived on 2 Notch. So I was the most central person. So and I'm the manager. So she came to me. I'm like the big brother, you know? So she came, you know, like, you know, to be rescued. And Nene tried to later on turn that whole situation around was, well, why did she come to you? And you must have been sleeping with her. Like, what? That don't have nothing to do with nothing. The girl came to my house bloody and beat up. She didn't come with no lingerie on in a trench coat.
That's messed up.
But later on, years later, she tried to throw it in my face to justify some bullshit that she was already doing. You know, here I am genuinely helping somebody. You know, switch that whole scenario around to make it seem, to create this narrative that, oh, I was always cheating on you. First of all, we wasn't together, and I wasn't cheating on you. You know, but it is what it is. This ancient history.
Yeah.
One more quick note: this dude got some shiny ass arms, man. He made sure he put that baby oil on.
That's what I'm saying. You're for real, like he glistening. Him and them shoes glistening, honey.
And with my badass eyesight, I could see that shit.
Yeah, he got plenty oil on.
Shout out to Derrick Jaxn. I ain't mad at you, bro.
Hey, he got to keep the eye candy going.
Hey, you gotta put that Armor All in your tires, man. You know, hey.
I mean, hey, it
I
is
ain't
what
mad
it
at
is.
him.
Well, let's see what else he got to say. We ain't got too much more of this to go, but let's see.
First time we actually had gotten pregnant prior to that in North Carolina, but she miscarried. And then before that were abortions.
Well, definitely. Have my condolences totally. And so what made you decide or y'all decide to give birth to Marley?
Well, earlier in our years, we were just kids and we felt like we're being irresponsible if we bring them in, really thinking of ourselves at that time, not thinking about, the God factor or anything like that. So by the time we got to North Carolina, it did take a toll on her, even those experiences. And, for me, my whole stance was, even though we created this together, it's your body that has to carry it. So whatever you want, I'm on. And in North Carolina, we wanted it, but she miscarried. So when Marley came about, it was like, oh, it's game time if we can actually carry. It really wasn't even much of a discussion. The moment we weren't boyfriend and girlfriend, but the moment she let me know, I told her, you ain't got to do this alone. Like, I hope you know I'm all in. And I was. Every doctor's visit, I didn't miss one. I told her she didn't have to work and I was going to take on every bill, and I did. So she didn't work from that point until we divorced, or I filed for divorce. But that was my whole mindset.
You said all in was we're in a relationship at this point?
Or no, when I mean all in, I was still not thinking we could work in a relationship. I also had
to be a present father.
I'm absolutely.
Yeah.
Because probably more than I wanted to be a husband, man, I wanted a family. I wanted to be a dad.
Because of what you were lacking growing up.
Hold it. You let me I got to come back on. I'm gonna say this again because y'all seem to not get it. Somebody didn't let him know. You cannot be a family if ain't nobody married. Dude, you ain't no family if you don't have no wife and you just got kids. You can't be no damn family. Women, having a baby don't make him your family. Because most of y'all having babies by the dudes that's already got kids. So that way, if we gonna take that logic, wouldn't the first baby mama be the family? So what the hell you doing? This carry before you marry don't make you family. Let's just be clear about that right now. And all this carrying with no marry don't make you family. And I don't care if y'all mad about that, but the truth is the damn truth.
It started with the millennials with this new language, and they think they could, just because they have kids, they have a family. No. Your wife or your husband makes it family. You just having kids, you just a baby mama or a baby daddy. That ain't no family.
Not at all.
You can't have a family without the spouse.
Thank you.
You got to have a spouse. Because you're considered a family when it's just a husband and wife. That's a family.
Yeah.
Kids coming into the equation don't change that. You're a family with children. But you become a family when you got a spouse. And so what he should have said is, I wanted to be a father. I wanted to make a baby. That's what he wanted.
Say that.
That's what he should have said.
Yeah, and get on with it. Yeah, stick with that, sir. Yeah,
but we always try to dress it up.
This family
to take away from our bullshit.
Yeah, because that's what this is, bullshit. Yeah.
And that's men and women. Men and women do it. So we just heard a man do it, but you hear women do it. So I can't even say that's a woman thing. Men do it too. Oh, I wanted a family. Okay, then why didn't you do things in order, Mr. I'm a God.
Why didn't you get a family? Because you still don't have one. You got kids.
Mr. I'm a godly man, right? So the Bible says, do all things must be done decently and in order. The order is the divine order. That's the husband, the wife, Christ, and God. Everybody reports up. That's the order. So if you're doing things outside of that order, you're out of order. And then they wonder why things don't work for them. Because you're out of order. It doesn't, no matter what you do out of order, it's not going to turn out the best way it should.
Not at all.
And that's what they don't realize. You can't. Somebody said it the other day. I can't remember who I was watching, but somebody asked the question: are you a good mother and a bad wife? No, you can't be one of the. You got to be a good wife to be a good mother. You got to be a good father to be. A good husband to be a good father. That's the order. And if you operate outside of that order, it is what it is.
Okay. I can dig it. All right, let's see what else he talking about real quick.
No, that was my major pain point.
Yep.
I don't have my daddy. And I remember vividly asking the questions to my mama. She's trying to answer best she can, but feeling away when I saw this and then I'm like, one day when I get my baby boy, I'm not going to miss anything. So when she told me that, I really got excited, but I also wanted her to know she had my full support regardless of our relationship status. So every gynecologist, I went to the little classes to teach you how to massage or while she on that Pilates ball.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, it's game time. I bought books, but we had not sealed up the relationship exactly. Mm-hmm. So some time passed, and I think we had a little argument where she was like, if you don't be with me or something like that,
I'm not gonna let you marry your kid.
I'm gonna take the baby off the grid.
Yep.
And it shook me. I had to talk about that again because my mind is, she would never do something like that.
Yep.
But she was like, I was just upset.
She said, I'm gonna take the baby, move with my mom.
Yeah, but she said, I'll be off the grid where you can never even reach me. And I was like, okay, I never heard that before. But anyway, fast forward, it stuck with me, even though she said, I was just talking, I was just upset, my pregnancy emotions. But I also, whenever she had found all that stuff, the videos and stuff, I was just like, man, you got to tighten up. You can't be on this. I don't like the example I'm about to set. At this point, I'm in my career. I'm talking about family values. So I was like, all right, time to cut the whole phase short, time to lock in. And I made my mind up like I'm going to propose to her. I'm going to give her some time to heal everything or whatever. But New Year's Eve, I planned it all out, started paying for the ring. I'm like, it's game time.
Why? Why'd you decide to marry her? What? Because at that point, was it led because of the pregnancy? Was it led out of true love for this woman? Is it led for what initiated and made you say, this is my world that I'm in. I have this platform where I'm sharing this. I have this child coming, but I want to go ahead and marry this woman.
The platform impact was the least of it. With her in that time, even though she was pregnant, she actually was helping me with work a lot. My business was picking up, going crazy. This is the first time, I think it was the first year I made 7 figures. And I'm in my 20s or whatever. And I'm like, I can trust her.
Yeah.
She was with me when I was broke, whatever. It didn't happen over the years, but at least I know she doesn't want me for my money.
Yep.
And she's carrying my baby while helping me at work. If we can make the relationship work, I want to try. And this time, knowing what I know, because now I'm teaching the masses, I'm like, I know how I need to come. I need to secure her in terms of my intentions. Then that's where the marriage part comes in.
Yep.
So she knows I'm not playing no games. I got now the financial pieces there. So she already ain't working, but before Soft Life was cool, I was like, I don't want her to have to worry about anything financially.
Yep, she said that. She
I'm
said
all in.
Financially, she was good.
Yeah, financially, because, another pain point was I saw my mama struggling. And I always felt like if a man was here, she wouldn't be, how she is, tired all the time and gone all the time. So 2 things I knew I wanted to do. I wanted to be a present father, and I wanted to take some weight off of my lady's shoulders. And from there, I was like, whatever. I think if I come in and I do my part, the rest is going to fall into place. But it don't work like that. I see, and I had to learn this in therapy, man. Like, as much as we know we cultivate a version of a woman, she exists outside of us.
Oh, of course.
Well, it's easy to say that, but then when you in it and you know that you're doing this, and this, because it wasn't just financial. If she called me at any time, I don't care. If she wanted me to run to a place and get her some food at 1 or 2 in the morning, it's like whatever. And I'm sitting there billing that into, that's going to produce a certain version of her. But that mindset didn't allow her to experience remaining trust issues with me. Postpartum depression.
Oh, yeah.
All of these different things they ain't got nothing to do with how I'm treating her.
Hang on. So why is postpartum such a thing now? Like back in the day, like when we was born, women, every now and then you know what I'm saying, found somebody who had it, but they usually had a explanation as to why they ended up with postpartum. That now everybody got it. It's just like having a cold.
Well, it's psychobabble, right? And a lot of psychobabble just gets repeated. It's never actually diagnosed issues. People self-diagnose themselves. That's bipolar. It was a time when you never heard that word. Then all of a sudden, like in mid 2000s, 2010-ish, everybody bipolar all of a sudden. Everybody got ADHD. All of these psychobabble words started popping in. Coincidentally, that was around the time that WebMD got popular. So people started diagnosing themselves, right? So postpartum is the latest one. The truth of the matter is people is a bunch of bitch ass motherfuckers, right? In today's world. You know, we always talk about our grandparents. They were tougher people. They just dealt with shit. They didn't sit and boo-hoo. And I know somebody told me, a girl, well, I want to be able to come home and tell you about my day. I don't give a fuck about your day. I really don't want to hear it. I'm not your girlfriend. I'm not your therapist. If you got issues, you need to seek professional help. Because I know what my day is like, especially working in customer service.
For real.
Hell, I could spend 8 hours debriefing you on the bullshit that I got with customer service issues.
For real.
I mean, you know it. You know what it is. I mean, but you can't unload that negative shit onto another person every day. You'll drive.
What you see all the time. You can do that with your therapist because you ain't seeing them every day.
Right. But our grandparents had their own issues, but they sucked it up and dealt with it. They put their big girl britches on or their big guy boy britches on, and they kept moving. But today, everybody wants to fall apart at the least little thing. And ain't nothing wrong with venting. You get something off your chest on this damn asshole at work. You talk about it for 5 minutes and you move on to the rest of your life. But you got some people that have spent hours every day talking about this shit. I'm like, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I've done customer service longer than most people. So I get it. I understand. But I never unloaded to nobody every day. I might tell you an issue, something. I got an issue to tell you about Walmart earlier. I ain't told you yet. But I mean, I can't unload everything to you every single minute. But you got people, that's what they want to do. They're just sensitive and soft. Sometimes you got to just deal with your shit. But we've forgotten how to do that in America. It ain't just black people. It's Americans. Deal with it. You know your job is customer service. You know that's what you signed up for. This is part of your job.
Hang up on them motherfuckers or don't go to work.
Or get another job. Get a job where you ain't got to talk to nobody. And you're still going to have issues with that job. Having issues with a job comes along with the territory.
That's just what having a damn job. Unless you're working for yourself.
But these people,
and you got a different kind of issues. Yeah, they
are soft. Their lives fall apart. You know what I mean? Their lives just fall freaking apart. Now I want to go back to a couple of points. True love, as we just said. There's no such thing as true love. Love is love. It's either love or it's not love. There's no spectrum. Because love is actions. It's not a feeling. It's actions. So if you're loving somebody, that means you're doing certain actions for that person. Or you're not. So this true love and soulmate shit, we got to get out of that. We got to get out of that. He made a calculated decision to marry that woman. She was pregnant. He already had time invested. She looked a certain way. Whatever reasons he made the decision, he made it. It ain't got nothing to do with true love.
Well, he never said it was the love. I have to give him that. He did not say that.
No, the host asked him, "Was it true love?"
Well, yeah.
Why you not with her?
He did not say that.
But that concept of true love is astounding. Oh, I'm waiting for my soulmate. God made somebody just for me. Show me in the Bible where it says that.
True.
Show me in the Bible where it says love is a feeling. I'll wait. It ain't in there. But we got to stop with that. And I'm surprised two men talking and that true love shit came out in the conversation.
I said from the very beginning that Mr. Interviewer, he too far on the female pandering tip for me. But I mean,
yeah, I kind of, and that's why I'm pointing out. He says something else after that. I can't remember. I should have stopped you a little bit earlier when it was fresh on my mind. I remember the true love thing he said. Because when we keep putting that notion out there, and then there are men who wonder where women get it from. Because like I said last night on the podcast, it ain't women that's the problem. It's these punk ass men. They keep a lot of this shit going. There's no such thing as true love. Love is love. If you ever loved more than one person, and I'm sure you have, one wasn't true love and the other was fake love. You loved both of them.
Yeah.
You loved them. It is what it is. Ain't no true love. Oh, he said a marriage partner. See, that's that pandering shit. That's what Derrick
ain't no part. Yeah, ain't no partner.
Ain't no partnership. The way they think, because see, when women generally hear partnership, they think 50-50. And in reality, in business, most partnerships aren't 50-50.
Are not 50-50.
You know, it might be 90-10, 70-30. Hell, you might have a partner that's only 1% invested.
Right.
But it's never 50-50. And 50-50 partnerships are the worst. I know when I was doing graphic designs and photography, I would get with people who they were 50-50 partners. And one partner want one thing, the other, and I got both of them calling me. And I had to stop. I remember these guys, I had to stop at one time. One of y'all need to call me. I don't need to hear from both of y'all. Y'all decide amongst yourselves who is going to communicate with me. And I'm dealing with that person only.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I'm switching designs back and forth. Oh, I wanted 10,000 cards. Well, your partner already ordered 20,000. You know,
right.
You know what I'm saying? I need somebody to make a damn decision so we can roll with it. You know,
right. So we can get on with this.
When it's
that's why you have a spokesperson. Yeah, let them do the.
I need somebody to be the. Like I said to Lena last night on the podcast, I said it's like you're driving a car. You get into a car with a man. It's his car. You decide to get in the passenger side and go with him. And now you're trying to grab the steering wheel while he's driving. I said that doesn't work. At some point, you got to allow him to drive. She said to me, "Well, what if I want to drive?" Okay, who cares?
Well, y'all get that together before you get in the car.
Before you get in the damn car. I said, Lena, what's important is you get to where you're going, not who drives. I said, but what you just said to me is why a lot of women have relationships problems, because you're so focused on who's controlling the steering wheel and you're not worried about the destination. You got to worry about the damn destination. And if you don't trust the man, then you shouldn't be in his car.
This is what I'm saying.
If you know the man is a horrible driver, he has a lot of accidents, he drives drunk, why did you get into the car with him?
Right.
So obviously you feel comfortable being in the passenger side with this man. Why are you grabbing the steering wheel?
Right.
He trying to go left and you pulling it right. Like, that ain't gonna work in a car. Y'all gonna crash. And that's what happens to relationships. It's a metaphor. The relationship crashes because you got too many people trying to drive. Only one of y'all need to drive.
This is true.
But that's that partner, marriage partner. And no, it ain't no partner in your marriage vows.
Nope.
And that's what I asked her too. I said, do you want to be married? And she says, yes. I said, well, tell me where happiness is in the marriage vows. Tell me where. I said, matter of fact, you know what's in the marriage vows? Obey.
That's the part they have a problem with.
Well, There it is right there in the vows. You already agreeing to obey. So that means at some point, that don't mean you don't have no say-so in the marriage, but it means at some point when a decision has to be made, he got to make that final decision. That's what that means. It don't mean you ain't never going to make no decisions. But when it comes down to push comes to shove and a decision has to be made, the buck stops with him. But that's what I heard when that, it was a third point, but it'll come back.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, let's see what else he talking about on here.
Taking up all your time. I'm sorry.
You all right? That's cool. We ain't got too much more. But yeah, I mean, like so far, I gotta be honest. This shit disappointing.
You got any comments?
Nothing recent. I just ain't hearing.
Yeah, you gotta watch yourself and hit the like button, man. Go ahead, man. Likes are free. Subscribe.
Yeah, for real. Go on, subscribe, share, all of that, y'all.
You know what? Yep. You know what it was? I had to resubscribe to you. For some reason, I was unsubscribed. I had to resubscribe. I was wondering why I was getting the notifications. And I couldn't find you when I was searching. That's why I had you send me the link. I'm like, why won't it come up?
Okay, yeah, it was
crazy.
YouTube, y'all trying to start
YouTube doing crazy shit. So make sure y'all subscribed.
Right, for real. Make sure you got your notifications on.
Right, smash the bell.
For real. All right, let's see what else we got. Because I mean, so far he ain't telling me nothing.
Oh, without considering that, man, I personalized everything going into even the engagement and on forward, man. So yeah, that was my thinking. Like, we gonna make this work no matter what. But we still had not properly set the foundation, reset it from all of the years past.
And when you decide to marry her, you made up in your mind, I am done with all these women. This is my wife. I'm going to be an honest man that covers my wife properly.
When I made up to just get engaged with her, I had burnt all the bridges.
Oh, you did?
But the thing was, with me, my boundaries were loose at best.
So boundaries I had bad boundaries when I was married. So I just want to hear what you consider a bad boundary.
So I may have a woman that I slept with before, even in our singleness. I may have a woman I have sexual history with before, and I have no problem carrying on small talk. That's one boundary.
Right.
Going out where I knew somebody else was going to be there, that's a loose boundary. It's like, somebody that you had sexual history with is at this place. There was one situation where a girl that I had some sexual history with, she did some work down in Atlanta, so she was flying in. Way before she had asked me to like give her some books or something like that. And I kept that commitment to meet up with her and give her books instead of telling her or just telling her, no, things have changed since the last time. So these are the types of things that I didn't notice until way later that Naya would see or have whatever and have problem with.
Of course.
Because even if a girl is hitting me up saying, D, my mom loves your stuff. My colleague, is a fan of yours. And I reply like, oh man, thanks. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate that. Hope everything is well. Danae sees that up the corner of her eye, or when she goes to my phone and says he's talking to women.
Yep.
So for somebody who hasn't healed, it's triggering all over again. But in my mind, I ain't smashing these women. For any woman that I'm even having a loose boundary with, I'm curving women 10 times more. So on into engagement, that was the first time I was like, okay, I don't know if I can do this. Because at this point, man, I done got her books. I got a therapist because I'm not getting the version of her I think I'm supposed to get. I'm faithful. I'm provisional. I'm still asking about what we can do to fill up her love tank, but she's hostile. She's closed off. At times, she's emasculating with how she talks. Of course, the sex is not even close to being there. And then she said, well, we need to go to counseling.
That's where I'm glad you went right there. And then what happened in counseling? Because that's where she said she revealed, this is before y'all got married, right? And this is where she revealed I had been raped before, right? In this counseling session, that this happened. When did she mention that she had saw stuff in your phone and all that stuff? Was that in this counseling session?
She already had told me in real life she had saw the stuff, but this is where we're going to deep dive through all those things. And at first I was reluctant, I ain't gonna lie to you, man, because it's like, why is the relationship only in trouble when you're unhappy? Why is it that I've been telling you stuff, I'm not getting what I need, I'm paying for personal trainers to help fix your self-esteem so you can get back in shape, I'm paying for the therapist, the books, the podcast, I'm doing everything, rubbing feet, backs, everything, and it's not enough, and I'm hurt by that, but then whenever you feel upset, now you're ready to save the relationship. So I was reluctant at first, I ain't gonna lie, but I'm like, I'm engaged now. We got a little baby.
Pause it right there.
Let's do this. Let's go.
Was already born at this point?
Yeah, Marley's already there. She was.
What's up?
You know, man, I got a similar story to what he just said. And it's almost like in especially since the advent of the manosphere and men are starting to compare notes. The more we compare notes, we're starting to realize that it's almost a playbook that some of these women follow by. Everything that he just described, I got a similar story. Down to the rape. That almost, if I didn't know him, I would think he was telling my story right now. Going to the therapy and learning about the rape, I'm telling you, almost word for word what he said, I could tell you the same story about me.
So this is straight out the Hyena playbook?
That's what it sounds like. Because they try to use that to get empathy from you and be a victim. They always want to be a victim, but at the same time, it sounds like his wife was doing the same thing Nene was doing. Oh, I'm a tough guy and I can whoop anybody's ass. But then on the other hand, you want to be an innocent victim when it suits you. She played that same game. I was doing the same thing because you figure in 2004, 2002, her father got murdered. I went all out for the family. I hired a lawyer. I came down here. You know, I was working for Radio Shack then, and it's the middle of the winter time when I'm doing. It's before Christmas, so that's my busy time of the year. I flew down here in the middle of that time to be supportive. You know, same thing he's saying. I was trying to build her up, let her know I was here for her, support her financially, emotionally. I'm doing, and at some point, I'm saying to myself, when is it going to be over? When is enough going to be enough? That's what he just said. I'm asking myself the same question. What more could I do? And I was being faithful. I didn't cheat on Nene when I was up in Jersey, even though she was constantly running back down here. And I was up in Jersey by myself. I wasn't cheating on her. But any opportunity, I told you that time, like with Joy ran into Art at the Radio Shack, and Art gave her my phone number. I didn't even know he did that. So when Joy calls me, Nene answered the phone and started cussing Joy out and accusing me of cheating on Joy. I hadn't even seen Joy. I hadn't seen her in a couple of years. It just so coincidentally she ran into my stepfather, you know. But of course, Nene tried to make it seem, oh, you cheating on me, you messing with all these girls, and I'm like he said, it's just people that you've previously had relationships with, and you run into them. That don't mean I'm still sleeping with them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
To this day, me and Joy, I talked to Joy today. She had to go to a Jersey for a funeral. I haven't had any sexual relationships with Joy in no time in recent history. But we've been friends the whole time. But if you read our messages, I'm sure you could take something out of context. I'm sure. I mean, this is a person I've known all my life. So we have a level of communication that ain't going to be just straight up business. You know, it's going to be friendly. It's going to be personal, but we know each other. And you could take things out of context, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, with that situation he just described, I went through it early on before we got married. Before we actually got married, I went through that same shit, you know? And I said the same thing. The sex, I wasn't getting what I needed sexually from her, but I was committed. I wasn't cheating on her, but that's what I got accused of. And like I said to her, like, why would I move from Columbia in my own place? I'm 2 hours away from you. I could do that.
That was the time to be cheating for real.
I could have been doing it down there. Why would I move to your hometown and live with you when I could have just stayed in Columbia in my own shit?
Right, to cheat in Albemarle, I'm sure it's a better quality of woman in Columbia.
Or I could have moved to no, it was Monroe. It wasn't even Albemarle. I could have moved to Ruby with my grandparents. I was going to get an apartment in Charlotte, but they talked me out of it. Like, well, why you going to spend that money when you can just live here with us? So that's what I was like, yeah, that makes sense. But I was looking for my own apartment. And my plan was to stay with my grandparents until I found one. So, but you know, I got talked out of it, which in hindsight, I wish I had not done that. I wish I had did it my own way. But you try to make things work. You know, that's what I hear him saying. And I've never been on this man's side, but I'm believing some of this shit he's saying.
Okay, so okay.
I'm believing. All right.
Well, let's see what else he got to say.
Yeah.
They're like maybe 8 months old. She was very young. And then the counselor, and this was kind of really made it tough for me to continue on, he immediately went into rescuer mode. Danae is a lot better at accessing her emotions, especially painful emotions, than I ever have been. So me and her together, I'm big and I'm extroverted. I can talk a little bit. She's a soft voice and, just look like she just been held in a basement or something like that. So we going and talking and immediately she goes in about all the hard things I had done in the previous relationship. So me, ignorant, I never considered all the previous because I'm like, hold on, in between time we single, you've been dating.
Yeah.
I'm thinking especially because she got her lick back.
Yeah.
She got her lick back. And I mean, call me what you want, bro. I still feel to an extent. Once you get your lick back and you even the score,
we even.
I don't want to. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like you went one of the guys, and I don't know if she slept with him or nothing like that, but it was one of my homies. She knowingly did this. I did that to make you upset. She went for guitar lessons and learned everything she needed to know in one night. But I was like, okay, well, my chest hurt just like your chest.
Learned everything you need to know in one night.
But I'm like, you wasn't bad for doing that. Anybody would be first off on time, and then secondly to make me.
Yeah. A woman on some tit for tat when it comes to sex, yeah, you bad. That ain't good.
You know, I did the same thing, man. And that's how people always ask me, how did you stay with Nene so long? Because I made mistakes too. And I kind of felt like, okay, she forgave me, I'm gonna forgive her, and we gonna move forward. So again, I'm like, what this brother is saying, I believe this nigga because I lived this shit.
I'm just saying, as a woman, you just out here, you know what I'm saying, just, and I understand she was broken, but at this point, you making conscious decisions to just be out here on some slut 304 type time because you mad.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's not because they're broken.
The bodies you can't get rid of, and you still ain't got the man.
But that's the thing. They're not broken. That's again psychobabble. They're using that to not be accountable for their bullshit. You could make a mistake without being a broken person. We all make mistakes.
Yeah.
So make the mistake. I fucked up. Let's move on. But they don't want to do that. It's always got to be some trauma, or I was abused and I was raped and you're not doing something. And it's always got to be some kind of deflection. And that's what I'm hearing. This chick is running on him. That's the shit. Now, I want to back up. What did he say? She's better at her emotions than he is. No. People don't care about men's emotions. So we don't focus on them. It's not that we don't have them. Nobody gives a shit. That's just what it is. So it doesn't become central. Whereas with women, everything is about their emotions. And they're used to people coddling them and coddling their emotions. And that's why she's free to express them where men aren't. Nobody wants to hear men's emotions. Not even women. They don't want to hear the shit.
Okay.
Oh, you're not a real man and you're a punk or you're a bitch ass thing, whatever. That's all I got.
I'm like, yeah, you went over there and fucked this homeboy. Like,
your volume is low.
You ain't no victim. I'm saying she ain't no victim. But I said that previously. I said that in the first part of her interview with this cat. She ain't no victim. But let's see what else.
Right, she's not gonna fix it.
You know what I'm saying? My chest hurt just like hers did.
Say what? I'm sorry.
She's not gonna fix it because it's not broken. That's who she is.
What's up, big sis, bestie, messy Bashan in the house?
Oh shit! Hey, bestie. But yeah, it's not broken. She's not broken. She's operating how she normally operates. Now that may be fucked up, but it's how she operates. It ain't broken. That's a standard feature. Okay. And the way you could tell that, because it happens over time. It's not like it's a one-off incident. Watch as he goes on with this story. We're going to continue hearing this over years. Over years. Hell, you know for yourself. You've heard Nene tell lies in 2005 and still hear them same lies a decade later. Am I lying?
You right. You ain't
Come
lying.
on.
You right. You right.
You heard about your old ears.
You right, because this is really giving me hyena playbook vibes.
That's what it is. We didn't have a word for it way back in 2005, but we got a word for it now because again, everybody's sharing notes and we can identify the patterns. But this story he's telling, I got the same damn story. The only difference is his therapist was a man, mine was a woman. That was the only damn difference.
Really? Okay.
That's the only damn difference.
All right. Let's see what else we got in this story. Now look, come on, we've been doing good. Because we're approaching the 1 o'clock hour, we're gonna act crazy. Come on.
Damn, I ain't know it's that late.
He said he
yeah. All right, cool. So when we in this counseling session, back to here, 2017, she going in and I'm in the present of all the things I've been doing. It's the first time I've come this hard for the relationship ever. And, financial aspect and the security. Got down on one knee. I can't do no more than what I've done. But she talking about me like I'm a dog. And the only thing that exists is all the negatives. I ain't done a single positive, So he not only allowed her to say that, he said, now you got this hard voice with me already. I ain't even said nothing. You don't say a word. Not until y'all come back on another session. So it was tough because I'm like, man, my feelings are obsolete the moment that she talked.
Hold up. Oh, hell no. What? And I'm paying you?
See, this is why I say therapy.
Bro. That ain't how this works.
That's why I said therapy ain't what you think it is.
Hell no.
And we see this with Dr. Umar, right?
Not me.
Dr. Umar's been operating in a women's centric or a gynocratic environment his whole career. So, of course, his ideas are similar to theirs. So it sounds like this therapist was on that same shit.
There ain't no way in hell. When I tell you I've been on the phone with the bank on the way home, there's a fraudulent transaction, stop payment on every nickel of this shit. Nope. What you mean? So how long he had to stew on that before he could say something?
I know when I was going
to hell no. What? Don't say nothing.
When we were going to therapy, it was 2006. We were going, so it would have been 6 years earlier. I was going through the same thing. But the good thing about my therapist, it was a lady, an old white lady, and she told us from the beginning.
Wait a minute. I'm sorry. What? Hell no. Don't. Ooh, that's that touch me in my soul, because they ain't no way in hell you finna tell. Ooh, Jesus. I done paid your raggedy. Ooh, Lord, you gonna.
But that old white lady was on point.
You don't know me. Ooh, yeah.
That old white lady was on point, man. She told us, if you lie, I'm gonna know it, and I can't help it.
So how long did it take for her to figure out Nene was lying?
The very next session.
Okay.
She caught. She was taking notes the whole time.
Because I'm still back on this. Don't say nothing, but I done paid your ass
the whole time, and she told me the same thing. Don't interrupt her. Let her talk. So the whole time Nene was talking, she was taking notes. So the next session, we were picking up where we left off. and Nene immediately started lying. And the lady went in her notes and was like, wait a minute, that ain't what you just said last week. Here's what you said. I wrote it down exactly what you said. Your husband hasn't said a word, so you can't blame it on him. Nobody was rushing you to talk. Nobody interrupted you. You said this on your own. And now here you are again. Nobody's interrupting you. You told a lie.
Okay, well, let's see if he had this type of experience, because I'm still you ain't gonna not for my money. Which damn pandering he had to do to get them dollars up. Shit. Don't say nothing. Gotta come in talking. You don't say nothing.
Let me know if Mona come in the chat, because you know I gotta give her a special speech. I gotta speak.
I will. All right, hang on, because I don't say.
Michonne should have came up. Michonne should have came up here on with us.
Oh Jesus!
Hit the link, girl.
Yeah, it's pinned in the chat. Y'all want to come on up? I'm still on the don't say nothing. Child, I wasn't ready.
But I know my therapist had a reason for doing it. Now, I don't know about his.
That's what I'm saying. So yeah, let me pull myself together, because he gonna have to tell me something, because there ain't no way in hell. I'm telling you, I'd have been on the phone.
Well,
I'd have been on the phone with the bank. I don't know nothing about him. I don't know him. I don't know nothing.
I had that good insurance back then, so all I had to pay was that $50
I don't care. I don't know nothing. I mean,
I had a $50 deductible back then. That's it.
Child.
Convergence was paying. My Convergence insurance was good back then.
Shit, child, not me. Don't say the heck. Okay, all right. Let me see what we got.
And she crying and everything, so I get it. But I'm like, man, this ain't it for somebody who already deals with shame, wounds, abandonment, all this other stuff. We did do like one more session, and in that time, I found out she was texting the personal trainer under a woman's name. She had been searching them on Facebook. She had lied about some other stuff. So after that, bro, and she went and said some things that weren't true in the counseling. I didn't even want to go no more.
You just say, I'm not going.
No, because I felt like, you're not even.
Whoa. So you even get to get your side in?
Listen, so the same shit you're going to know I'm telling the truth. I'm going to say one word. Larry Blake.
Yo, what's happening? Go ahead. I'm sorry, BB.
Who was that that came in here?
Theo.
Theo Coop?
Do better.
Coop?
Yes.
Yeah,
wait a minute, because you done paid this man twice and you ain't get to get your side off.
Yeah, I'm telling you, he telling my story.
Hell no.
The person Nene was texting in the session was Larry Blakeney.
Not damn, why you put that man's name out here on the
Hey, I don't give a shit about Larry Blakeney. Yo. Real talk.
Dude.
That was who she was texting.
Oh, Jesus.
He telling my story, man. It's crazy. I ain't think I had nothing in common with this dude.
Oh, Jesus. I can't do this. I don't want to. He told me he got a Stephen A. Smith headline. I don't want to do this.
Who said that, Theo?
Team Peterson.
Oh.
I'm not me, not my money. She'd have got cussed out all the way. After I got the phone with the bank, she'd have got cussed out.
I said his name wrong. It ain't Theo Coop no more. It's Coop 50K. I'm sorry.
No, it's 60K now.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I gave him that name when he had hit 50.
Man, yo, there ain't no way. After I got off the phone with the first time, I'm not even leaving at the parking deck till I get off the phone with the bank and get my damn money back. Then I would have cussed her ass out all the way home. Then we on the way. Y'all don't understand. On the way to the next session, because that session would have been the next day. We ain't sitting around waiting on nothing. That ain't how this works. She got cussed out on the way to the second session, and then he would have got cussed out the whole second session, and then I would have been done. Nah, you want to perform? I'm finna perform too.
But see how I dealt with it.
Is trash.
The frustration.
Y'all ain't giving this man no respect, none, just none.
How I was dealing with the frustration back then is I would just work overtime. I ain't want to be home looking at her.
We was always working overtime.
So that's why that was my motivation. That was my motivation.
We was chilling. Like,
you know, all y'all used to ask me, why you always in here like that? I never told my personal business, but that's why. I ain't want to be around her.
Hey, that makes sense. Well, I mean, hell, she went half working because every time there was some VTO, she was texting. I mean, you was just basically putting back what she should have been bringing in.
Yeah, I know that now.
Yeah, y'all hit the like button, hit the subscribe, get your notifications. Don't miss out on what we got going on over here because I got some more stuff.
Cash app, man. Drop your cash.
We're gonna talk about hit the cash app always work too.
You hit that for your girl one time.
For real. Go ahead, get these last couple of days of August in, you know, the birthday month. You know. Got some expenses we trying to cover over here.
Oh, you know what? You know what I found the other day? Chima sent me my damn $25 coupon.
For what?
You know, they used to send it every year.
Oh, you talking about Chima's?
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't do that no more. You have to show them your ID when you get there. I
just got one.
You did?
Yeah.
Well, let me look because I ain't get mine because I'm trying
I'll email it to you so you can see it.
Because I'm trying to get, I'm trying to be up in there. I was gonna go last week, but
I'll send it to you.
It's probably buried in my email somewhere. Yeah, because last year they was on there.
Charlotte, y'all don't ever holler at us.
Yeah.
I be watching y'all channels. I see y'all be sneaking into the QC.
True. This is true.
The She Contractor, that's my girl Tamika Lowe. She was just down here from Jersey like a month ago. The heck is up, girl? How you gonna forget about your boy?
I mean,
y'all ain't up on her. She's a female contractor. She does house renovations. Do a search for her. You can find her on Facebook. The She Contractor. She be doing her thing. Did I mention that she's gorgeous? Yeah, I was gonna leave that part out. Let y'all find that out.
Really?
Shout out to my boy, the gig geezer. He's down there in Colombia. He be up here sometime. He does this thing. Y'all want to learn how to make money with y'all trucks and y'all cargo vans? Follow the gig geezer. Got a lot of knowledge.
I mean, he'll need to talk.
Oh, yo, that man is, he used to be an accountant. He was doing some insurance work. That man is smart, man. He knows some shit.
Oh, thank you, Theo. Theo, hit that cash out. Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, hit that cash out, Theo. Coop, 50K Coop.
Yes. Thank you, Theo. Appreciate that. Man,
I don't even know what the hell he doing up this late, man. He be doing his show early.
Well, no, he had a watch party.
Oh, for real?
On the Discord. You on the Discord?
Nah, I ain't get on the Discord.
I need you to get on the Discord, man. Discord is where it's at. I got to get mine set up.
Yeah.
Discord be popping over there though. Yeah, you missing everybody. You missing his Discord. You missing Mona Discord. Coach Greg Discord be fire for real. Yo, you got to get on the Discord.
That's what he do with the blue chip mindset.
Oh, he usually do that on locals.
Oh, okay.
He gonna be on tomorrow. Some point.
Shout out to the coach. Shout out to the coach.
Real. Shout out coach. Yeah, coach.
Hey, baby.
I'm gonna leave that. Yeah, Discord is what's up. It is. It really is. I had to pop in for a little taste to come on back out. But yeah, Discord is where it's at for real. But this. I'm sorry, y'all. I feel like the Willie Moore one was better than this. I got way more, so I'm gonna have to do that one next. I got way more out of that than this so far. But let's see what else he talk about.
Yeah, fair use.
Yeah, fair use. This shit dumb. I'm sorry, but that's what it is. But let's see.
We don't want you to be sitting like
coaching this genuinely. And at this point, I was questioning if I wanted to go through with the marriage.
I was about to ask you. So y'all still, but you didn't end the engagement.
Didn't end anything. A big repetitive pattern of I'm pissed, I'm detached, I'm mentally checking out. I'm gonna show up as a worse version of myself, but I ain't letting you go. So that's a little bit of ego. It's a little bit of abandonment wounds, whatever you want to call it. We both didn't let each other go, no matter how much we was detaching.
That's interesting. I want to stop part one right here because when we come back, I want to talk about when y'all decide to go through with the marriage and then what happened and what got us here at this point. Listen, make sure you tune in tomorrow for part two of this. Thank you so much. You've been very vulnerable, being transparent. I'm over here gauging to see if you finna be lying and all this stuff. And I said, no, you've been authentic. If he ain't been authentic, you a good liar, boy. I teach acting and I'm a director. I'm like, if you lying to me, I just need to go back into my mama womb. because everything you're saying, you're 10 toes down in what you're saying, and you're being authentic. So thank you for showing up as your authentic self. Tune in tomorrow for part 2. LaDarian.
All right. I'm sorry. That it was part 2 because last time I looked, I saw like a question and answer type of situation going on.
Maybe
sorry.
he ain't posted it yet.
Maybe not, but the Willie Moore version was better than this. I'm sorry, it was. So I'm gonna do that one next, cause that ain't it. I'm sorry. Yeah, way more details than this here. Child. Yeah, let's see. 6. Yeah, I'm looking. I just see, answers to all your questions. So he's calling that part 2. So we're gonna go in deep in part 2, discussing all the okay. So all right.
You gonna do that tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do that. Yeah. Yeah, I still think I'm gonna do the
you got me interested in this now. Originally, I wasn't,
because I was
listening.
like, look.
And then I started like hearing some of the things he was saying. I'm like, yo, wait a minute. This dude is saying he's speaking my life story right now.
Man,
I was just a little bit ahead of him time-wise, but I mean almost word for word, you know. He was in Roanoke and in some place that means when he was in Roanoke, I was in Orangeburg or Columbia, you know. Same scenario. Just different locations. You just switch the names around, and I'm right. It's almost the same playbook. What you said, the hyena playbook. Almost.
Yeah, I mean, because that's what it sounded like. That I mean, it's like for real, sounding like the
word for word.
Yeah,
down to the therapy.
Yeah, like
it's crazy.
Yeah, it was better. I mean,
and it's manipulation, you know. And when it don't start working to their advantage, then they want to play victim. You know.
Yeah.
That's what ends up happening.
Like that sometimes.
But you was co-signing to all of this shit from the beginning, you know.
Damn, okay, that one we getting some traction. I appreciate y'all with that one. Yeah. Like I said, it's always 3 sides to the truth.
3 sides to the truth. A, B, and what happened.
Yep. So again, like I said, through thorough dissection and analysis of what the hell Danae was talking about in her session, we kind of came to the consensus of what was what, and pretty much what he's saying kind of validates what we came to as a consensus. Y'all ain't have no business, and I mean no business getting married under any type of circumstances, like none. First of all, neither one of y'all even saw a successful marriage to even be like, this is something I want to emulate. You know what the hell y'all doing? Like, yeah. And like I said, because of what she had been through, she felt like, she wasn't gonna let him go because he was the first man who. But my thing is that really didn't make any sense. He was the first man, that she wanted her since this, the situation. So she was gonna hang on to him at all costs. But it would have been different if he knew.
I don't believe that.
Okay. But my thing is, it would have been different if he knew what happened to her and then he came out and was like, you know what, it don't matter, I still want you. But hell, he didn't even know till damn near the end.
Same thing happened with me.
I don't believe her though. In your situation, that's some foolishness.
I mean, and I'm hearing the same thing with her. She said it happened. What proof do we have? Like Kevin would say, you got any police reports? You know.
Well, see that you wasn't on. I don't think he was on yet, but I talked about that, like the need for you to come out so that you can get some support, so that you can try to deal with what's going on. This, sitting, hanging on to it, because he said that, it actually happened to her twice in a 3-week span. How the hell does that happen?
Again, all we have is her word saying it happened. We have no other independent.
Well, no, she only talked about the one time. He just came out in this interview and said that, course of the relationship, he found out it was twice within the 3. But even her version of what happened, you know what I'm saying, the one time that she did talk about, that was a you put yourself in that situation type of deal. Like,
you know what it kind of reminds me of? Sukiana, when old boy was trying to get at her on that podcast, and then she wanted to play like she was so hurt and she was so weak all of a sudden. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you talking about when he kissed on the cheek?
Yeah. And he was spitting game at her and all that whole nine. And
she was spitting game back all about what she was going to do
and
all this and all of that.
She was going to play after the fact like she was a victim. But wait a minute. You was Miss Tough Guy 20 minutes earlier. You can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways. You can't be the tough guy and then play like you a damsel in distress. You can't go from one to the other.
This is true, but for some reason, they're allowed to do that.
That's what a lot of them do. They want to. Again, it's always about leverage, and they will manipulate, and they'll use any tactic they can to maintain what they perceive as leverage. You know, and whether that be playing the tough guy, or now they see the tough guy ain't working because you don't ran into a real tough guy. Now I'm gonna play the victim and damsel in distress for you know, to get sympathy or empathy from other people. It's just we gotta stop. We gotta start calling it out. We gotta start calling it out. And stop letting people do that. You know. Same thing with the chick who went over there to Italy, and she was all
went over there and got laid out. I mean, she yeah.
And then big Shirleyana came out of the back and snatched her ass up, made her sit down, and actually want to be a victim. Wait a minute, you was just
we got you on video showing out.
Same thing with the chick who went to Dubai. Same thing. That all happened within like a 2-week span of each other too, you know.
Yep.
It's like y'all can't play that. Other countries don't deal with that. Ain't
they
nobody
really don't.
You can't pull out that sympathy, empathy card, damsel in distress card over there, especially after they just saw you show your ass.
Right.
You just got finished showing your ass like 5 minutes before. She had to call the big girl from out the back to handle you.
Right.
They already tried to warn her, ma'am, you can't order outside food. She admitted herself, I ordered it because they ain't going to tell me what to do. I'm going to do what I want to do.
Oh, you ain't going to tell me, I'm going to tell you?
You ain't going to tell me, I'm going to tell you. I wish my Bluetooth was working out to play that. Shout out to Messy Michelle. And, but yeah, that's what she tried to do. And the Italian lady who owned that hotel wasn't having that. She called Big Shirleyana from the back. Big Shirleyana came out here as the enforcer.
Which is why they keep her back there.
I wish they would have had that on video. God, I want to see that video so bad.
I think it is on video.
I ain't seen it yet. If it is, boy, if you find that, send that to me, because that should be a meme.
Wow.
Big Shirley came out of the back. Shirleyano, because she was in Italian. It was, I guess that's what they call it in Italy.
Yeah.
Shirleyano snatched her up.
Folks be cutting the hell up.
And she got quiet. It sat her down. That's what I heard happen. She ain't just snatch her up. She snatched her and sat her down like she was a child. Sit your ass right here.
Exactly. Get out my damn hotel.
I don't want to see that.
Time for all of that. Get out.
I don't want to see that. But other places aren't dealing with that. We've allowed it to happen over here in the United States, and black women have adopted.
See, that's why we not respect. That's why we not respected.
Black women have adopted it from white women. You know, with that, you know, playing damsel in distress stuff. You know, but the rest of the world ain't having that, man.
Not at all.
Rest of the world saying, "Hey, you got to put your big girl drawers on out here."
And then even that, you know what I'm saying, going to other countries and, you know what I'm saying, being on that, you know what I'm saying, I'm an American. That works for white Americans. That don't work for us.
Hell, it don't work for them. And some of them countries don't care.
But I mean, depending on what's going on, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you in countries as friendly to the West, yeah, you can get away with it. But you over there in some parts of the world,
some
Dubai,
of them hate you countries. Yeah, because they don't even care.
Middle East.
You can't be going to China with all that nonsense.
Africa, they ain't gonna let you get away with it. Hell, they'll get rid of your body real quick, take you out in the bush, and let the tigers get you.
This is what I'm talking about.
And you just come up missing. That's all. You just missing.
Keep it moving. That's what they do over there. I don't understand why people don't do no research. You just over there,
especially if you're over there by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't over there like with no crew of people. You over there by yourself trying to show out. Oh, come with us, man.
Yeah,
we're gonna show you the tigers.
Yeah, this view is what he said. This view is you'll never forget it. You sure won't, because it'll be the last thing you see on the way down.
We're gonna show you the real Africa. We're gonna take you off this reservation out to this bush area. No, ain't nobody gonna come looking for you either.
Real talk, Steve. Since y'all like to listen to Steve Harvey, he done told y'all about that. He said, "Don't leave the resort." So what was that family got messed up? You know what I'm saying? Because the daddy was over there cheap and didn't want to pay for the tour guide or whatever, and they left off the resort.
That was that movie. They made a whole movie about that. Shit, what was the name of that movie? And they ended up getting mauled by the tigers and barely.
This is what I'm saying. They got messed up.
Yeah, that shit was crazy. I mean, they ran into everything. They ran into a tiger. They ran into a doggone rhino. They ran into the hunters, the illegal hunters. Everybody was trying to get at them. And all because he had to pay $100 to go out with a tour guide.
To get right. Don't. What my grandma say? Don't be here if you can't be here.
Like, dude, you already done spent all this money to come over here, damn.
If you get over there, like for real.
Now you gonna get cheap now?
Yeah.
And his wife had insulin, and I mean, it was all kind of stuff going on in him.
That ain't what y'all need to be doing, no way.
I was surprised she lived.
I'm just saying. First, I was
surprised. He got thrown up in the tree with the doggone tiger. Had thrown him up in the tree, and
no, cool.
Yeah, that movie was wild.
I don't need none of that.
It was based on a true story.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it was based on a true story. I can't remember the name of that movie, man. But that I remember the movie vividly.
It be white folk though. They'll be the ones. I'm telling you, they got a gift for.
Well, we starting to act like them.
Yeah,
we starting to act like them. We think we got white folk privilege.
Yeah, we clearly don't.
Believe me, if some shit could happen to the white folk, you know it can happen to you.
No, ain't nothing for real.
You know it can happen to you.
They let them go right on.
Or you start messing around with the Colombia and Medellin or something to see what happened.
Right.
Costa Rica, any of them places down there. We just think everything.
I had a good time in Costa Rica.
But I'm just saying, you go anywhere like that. You ain't in America no more. At least Mexico close to America. You ain't even connected.
Yeah.
You got a whole other country in between us and them.
You on your own.
Maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah, on your own.
Go on down there to South America, see what happened. Hell, be honest with you, you go up there to British Columbia, up there in Canada, see what happened. You got some places up there that's remote. Alaska and British Columbia, you know what I mean? But the rules don't necessarily apply.
That's true. Because ain't nobody gonna start looking for you till the sun.
Ain't nobody coming out there to look for you when them bears is out there.
That's what I'm saying.
Knowing that wildlife is out there and shit, you know. They all they gotta do is dispose of your body, take you to the train station. If anybody watching,
they could just leave some of the place. They could just leave you out there. The animals will take care of that for them.
That's what I was about to say. They call it. If you ever watch Yellowstone, shout out to Kevin Costner. We need another season, brother. Please get your shit together and bring that out. But anyway, they had a thing called the train station. They take you to the train station. Ain't nobody gonna find you no more. They take you. It's a town.
Used to do that back in the Wild Wild West times.
Man, this is modern times. This area was so remote there was nobody who lived in the county. So they would dump bodies out there. They called it the train station. They would dump the bodies out there. Man, listen, ain't nothing left of you. Especially by the time them bears and wolves get to you. Ain't nothing left of you. They said everybody in a 200-mile radius dumped their bodies there at that same place.
No, good.
Train
That's why
station.
when I act like I got some sense because I'm trying to come back home.
Hell, you got places like that just outside of Charlotte. I remember,
again, that's why when I go, I act like I got some sense because I'm trying to come home.
You go out like down 200. That's going in between Monroe and Pageland. And that's like right on the border of North Carolina and South Carolina. It used to be very rural out there. And I remember they started developing some houses back there about 10, 15 years ago. They had to stop the development because they kept finding bodies.
Damn. Okay.
That's just an hour outside of Charlotte. They was just finding bodies left and right. Hell, down there in Ruby, where my property is, I could dump a body off back there. When nobody finds you. It's probably people ain't been back in them woods since I've been back there. Don't nobody go back there. Marion ain't going back there. So ain't nobody back there. I could dump a body off back there on them 16 acres and nobody ever find you.
Yeah, remind me not to go to Ruby.
Yeah, we got places like that here. Rural areas. I mean, we started to do all this development now, so a lot of things is going away. But down there, you get outside of Charlotte a good hour, you still got some rural tracts of land out there. Down there, in between Kings Mountain and Gaffney, ain't nothing down there but woods. You could dump a nigga off real quick.
Man, we is talking about this on the wrong channel. We need to be on my true crime channel for all of this. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm intrigued by this. I didn't think I was gonna be interested in it as much as I am, but now that I hear his story, man, a lot of these dots is connecting, man. A lot of these dots is connecting.
I'm hoping part 2 gone. We're gonna find out tomorrow because I need some. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll be.
I wonder if he's gonna mention about her declining to come on. I want to see if they're gonna talk about that. That's one of the main things I'm looking for in this second round.
Well, I thought somebody already interviewed her.
No, okay. So he did. It's the same guy. But when Derrick was on the Willie Moore, he did his interview, the Willie Moore interview first, and then he was talking about how he was getting ready to do this one, and he asked, "What's this? What's the name? Future Wifey, for they people to reach out to see if she would come on." At the end of his interview, so that they could use that as a show of healing and good faith for their kids. She was like, "Nah, nigga, I ain't gonna do all that."
They don't want them scenes to come out, man.
But my thing is, if you got a whole business together, you out here trying to charge these folks these stacks, to learn how to heal, shouldn't you get on with him to validate your business?
Because healing is another psychobabble word.
I mean, I get that, but I'm just saying from a business standpoint, like, bitch, fake it till you make it.
Well, what I mean by that is they just want to use the word. They don't want to be able to have to verify it or let it be validated. They just want to use the word when it's convenient for them to say something cute. Okay. That's all they want to do. Healing will require changed behavior and over a period of time.
Because I just saw some video her the other day, and she was, you remember that when she got on, when she was cursing the people and all that? She back on that tip. So yeah, she ain't learned that.
That's how you could tell. Ain't nobody that healing is bullshit because you don't see no changed behavior.
Yeah, so because I was like, her saying no, I was like, well, I mean, would this be the perfect opportunity? But
and they don't want to be questioned. If you try to question them, they take it as you're attacking me, you're bashing me. No, I'm just asking a question.
Well, anything they don't want to answer is gonna be you bashing. So yeah. I'm just saying, I still say if 6 months from now he called her up and was like, you know what, let's get us another try, she would go for it.
Of course, because he's still that prototype man that all of them want. Physically, he's the guy. And the older she gets, she realizes her opportunity to get those guys are far and few apart. So he's really like a once in a lifetime guy. Well, he's like 6'5".
Mm-hmm.
Muscular, dark skin. I mean, he's handsome. I mean, all of it. He checks. And now he's wealthy. He checks every box.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys ain't just growing on trees.
This is true.
And the older you get, the less you see him. And he ain't an athlete, so that's even more rare. He got an athlete body, but he's just a regular guy walking around.
True.
But so of course she would get back with him. Of course, they always make a decision to make a move, and then after they make it, they realize that the grass ain't greener on the other side. They want to come back. They want to spin the block. Kevin Costner's wife, Tom Brady.
Hell, she didn't get to make that decision. He the one filed them papers.
Yeah, I know, but she was still trying to spin the block, though.
True.
She was still trying to spin the block. Tom Brady. They all do it.
Yeah, that's funny to me. Like, Giselle, we told you before you even started all of that. That was not.
But it ain't no changed behavior. So the man is like, I'm done. You ain't changed nothing. You the same person.
True.
I mean, as a man, as a father, what you want most is the kids to have their mother, because you know the kids love their mother, and you want to try to give them that complete family unit. So for a father to go away from that, it got to be some bad shit happening, you know.
Yeah.
But like somebody asked the other day, I said it earlier. Can a bad wife be a good mother? No, can't be. Because everything that makes her a good wife will make her a good mother. But you can't separate those two. So if you're being a bad wife, you're being a bad mother too. You're doing something that ain't to the advantage of them kids.
Mm-hmm.
And it's usually all about their personal bullshit. And their
What's
childhood.
going on, Eric? What's happening? Thanks for stopping by.
Be 40 and 50 years old acting like they're 20.
Mm-hmm.
They want to still go to the club at 40. When we was in our 20s and our grandparents was in their 40s, our grandparents weren't going to clubs.
Show the hell what?
They had an adult lifestyle. But in today's world, people in their 40s, they want to still be children. They still want to play video games. They still want to go to clubs. They still want to go to girls' trips. Grandma and grandpa wasn't doing that.
Not at all. First off, the club today is trash. I don't even know why y'all in there.
But then we want to know why relationships ain't working out. And then these women, they say, oh, they acting like they do so much. They don't do shit. Grandma was really doing some shit.
Okay, we just heard this last night on with Jason, because he was going hard.
Grandma was really doing shit. I'm so tired. I'm exhausted. What did you do today? Oh, I went to work. And? Well, what you do at work? Oh, I sat down at my desk all day and did this and that. Okay, cool. What did you do after that? I came home. So why are you tired? Why are you so burnt out? Did you have a bad day? Like, you ain't taking care of no kids, because your kids is usually at that age, they in school all day or they're old enough to take care of themselves. I was talking to somebody and they bragged about they might cook this week. I said, they might cook this week. And I say, you know, when I was a kid, my grandmother cooked every day.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a question of whether she would cook.
It was what she was gonna cook.
What she cooking next?
Mm-hmm.
And she grew her own vegetables. She grocery shopped every week. These chicks ain't doing none of that shit. You don't believe me? Next time you go to Walmart or grocery store, just stand in the fresh fruit, the fresh produce aisle for about 5 minutes and just watch. You ain't gonna see none of them chicks in there. You might see a couple of old ladies over there, older people,
Hispanic women. Mm-hmm.
Maybe a couple. Well, the Hispanics usually go to compare foods, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But
no, they be at Walmart over there on South Tryon tough. They be over there strong.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
They be
down there. They do, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you ain't. I'm like, what are y'all doing? You spend all day on Facebook on your phone, and you doing little girl shit. You ain't doing no grown woman shit. So when I hear these stories like that girl Miley on the Leaves channel the other night, she was describing a puppy. She wasn't describing a husband. She was describing a puppy. And I wish women stopped saying they got to take care of a man. That's not what men are asking you to do today. Grandma had to take care of grandpa, but his grandpa just didn't know how to do certain shit. So grandma did a lot of things for him because grandpa didn't know how to do it. But in today's world, these men know how to cook. They know how to clean. They know how to wash clothes. You ain't got to. What are you doing when you say take care of a man? What are you actually doing? Grandma would iron grandpa's clothes every day, have his shirt ready to put on in the morning, have his coffee ready, send his ass to work. Grandma had to do that because of the quality of man she was dealing with. But y'all don't have that as women today. When you got to do all of that kind of shit for a man. So what are you doing? And the men don't want you.
It be the I don't want no stinking man. Like where y'all? I'm still trying. Where y'all be finding these dirty stinking men?
Yeah, we talked about that before, right?
Like where?
But when you say, I was listening to the girl, very pretty girl. She was gorgeous. I'd give her an 8. I'd give her a genuine 8 on the scale of 1 on Kevin's scale, a genuine 8. But as she started talking, she dropped down to a 6 for me. She was slightly above average after I got finished hearing her talk. Because like the lead even said to her at one point, you're like a diamond in the rough. You got some rough spots that we need to iron out with her. And I agreed with him. But I had some questions that I would have asked her that he didn't ask her. She was only like 23 years old. One of the first questions I would ask her is, what age group man are you looking for? Because if you're looking for a husband at her age,
I think he did ask her that. I think the little bit that I heard, I think she said, because it was something real young. She was like, I don't mind him being older, but like she wasn't trying to go like, I think like past 35.
But that's the problem.
You 23, that ain't really
going past.
That ain't gonna get it.
Under 35.
Friendsgiving, how are you?
Under 35. Who you shouting out?
Friendsgiving.
After Thanksgiving, after 35 or 35 to 23, you're still dealing with the same mentality.
Yeah.
So her saying 35, she might as well have said 25. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
For what she wanted. You're not going to find a man that's capable of being a husband. And I believe she wanted to be a stay-at-home wife kind of thing, or not really work that much. But what are you going to do? Oh, I'm going to take care of the kids. Okay, you're going to do that for a couple of years. Let's say I'm in a position to let you stay at home until the child goes to kindergarten. So we talking about the first 5 years, right? So she's 23. Now you're 28 going on 30. What are you going to do now? Sit at home all day while the kid is in kindergarten? What are you going to do? But that's what they don't think about. They just want a lifestyle and girls trips and mimosas and brunches, and it's just not reality. But that's what the housewives of Atlanta gave us. They poisoned the whole generation of women with this fake ass lifestyle that ain't real.
Well, speaking of that, because I'm like, did y'all see about Nene getting Nene Leakes being sued about this boutique she had? She ain't never paid the rent, so she owed them like 25 stacks. Like, what's happening? So these are the folks. Now, it's the same chick with the Bravo had to pay for a crib, and she still ended up getting put out. They was paying for the rent, her Range Rover. Like, they have paid a lot of your bills, and then you want to get on here holler about you a boss bitch.
Yep. But my thing is, you be cheaper just paying the $25,000 and hiring a lawyer. Like,
yeah,
why don't you just?
Because most decent lawyers retain us way more than that.
Why don't you even deal with it? Why would you deal with that negative media? Just pay that shit off.
Well, I mean, you can if you got it.
I would think she would at least have $25,000 she could get access to.
Yeah,
I would hope so.
You would think.
But you faking that lifestyle. But that girl, like I said, I just didn't know what she was talking about. And every time I listened to her describe the man she wanted, it was like a puppy. It was just like she was talking about a puppy.
Yeah, Lee pulled her from way back because that was it's been a minute since Miley was first on. Yeah, Lee.
But I think that's his type. Light-skinned girls with curly hair. I think that's his type.
Yeah.
He gets infatuated by them, and it's kind of obvious. I mean, again, I acknowledge the fact that she's pretty. She's a very pretty girl, but once she opened her mouth, her prettiness dropped down for me. I wouldn't want to be aggravated with her. I just wouldn't want to be aggravated with her.
I can believe it. Yeah, 20. Because she was talking about because he was asking her about her, you know, saying about her being 23, about her relationship history, and it made me think about you, something you're saying that you said on a couple of your streams. Like, you in your 20s, you really don't have that much relationship experience. And she was talking about her longest relationship was like, I think she said like 3 years, but she like lived with the dude for like
and they only lived together for 1 year. So she only had a 1 year relationship. Because I don't count relationships when y'all are just smashing each other and you dating here and there. That's not the relationship. So the relationship started when they lived together. And that's why he broke up with her. That's why the relationship didn't go no further. Because he started seeing stuff when he was living with her that just didn't gel. Now, if it had been the other way around where they dated for 6 months to a year and they lived together 2 years, I'd be like, okay, maybe there's something there. But the fact that most of the time was just hooking up, because you know that's what it was. That's what they call dating now, hooking up. So she was hooking up with a guy for 2 years, and then eventually he moved in with her, or they moved in together, and then it quickly fell apart. So, I mean, I count. I don't look at body count. Body count doesn't matter. Relationship count matters, and relationship is when you're living with a person. And I know the old theory, and this is, I hear people talking about this. Oh, you shouldn't live with somebody before you marry them. I disagree. Coming from a person who's been married for 20 years, I had a 20-year marriage. My advice is at least live with a person for a year before you commit the rest of your life to them. Because you're going to see things about that person on a daily basis that you will never see just dating them. That's my advice. There's nothing in the Bible that says you have to marry a person before you have sex with them. That's not what the Bible says. And I challenge anybody to prove me wrong. It doesn't say that. But that's Christianity has thrown these things out into the world that ain't in the Bible. The Bible actually says if a man lays with a woman, meaning he has sex with her, he shall marry her. That's what it says. That's not the same as saying you have to marry a woman and then have sex with her. That's not what it's saying. Those are two different things. But they try to mix them up and make it seem like they're the same thing. But hey, if your religious belief says you can't sleep with a person, that doesn't mean you can't live with them. You can live with them, just don't sleep with them. If that's your religious,
that don't even make no sense.
But living with the person, you're gonna learn a lot more about them, whether you're sleeping with them or not.
Right. But I mean, you can end up in a situation where, you know what I'm saying, you done this with 5 or 6 people. And then you look up, you 40 years old.
Well, I'm not saying doing it with everybody. You can't just do it all the time. You got to be selective of who you do it with. You got to qualify the person either way. I'm not just saying every guy you date, you move into your house or you move in with him. I'm not saying that.
Well, I think because I mean I've seen it in you know anecdotal. You can vet and qualify and verify somebody without having lived them.
People pretend to be things. You meet their representative, and you're not going to see the real them until you're really seeing how they operate on a normal basis.
I mean, I get that, but it shouldn't be. If you get all the way to the point where you're gonna marry somebody, it shouldn't be that drastic. It should be no drastic change.
You'll be surprised.
Well, that means you didn't have no business marrying them in the first place. There's so many your vetting process between meeting them and getting married was way off.
I saw that
be completely different.
Who Needy was from?
You didn't have no business marrying her.
From 90,
that just proved my point.
No, but listen, from 98 till 2003, she was a different person, completely different. And she started showing her damn colors. But who she was,
that was kind of her.
Huh?
That was kind of her the whole time.
I can't hear you.
I said that was her the whole time because you said y'all stuff was out. You say y'all was out of order. So she was out of order then. So out of order just stayed out of order. So they had nothing to do with y'all not living together. It was just out of order.
Vetting, right? You can't vet somebody, especially at that age. You don't know what to look for. I was 21 when I met her. I didn't know what I know now. So that's one thing. So see, hindsight is always 20/20.
Right, but you living with her at 21 was not going to show you something you didn't end up seeing anyway.
I wasn't living with her then.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying even if you had been, this would have been the same trajectory. Because at this point, y'all already got kids.
No, we didn't have kids at that point. When I first met her in 98, we didn't have kids. Who she was in the beginning, she was
never her.
Huh?
Was never her.
She was able to hide, right? She was being somebody she wasn't. And it was easier to do because she only had to put on that role here and there. I wasn't seeing her every day.
Okay, but she did dirty shit living under the same roof with you. So you.
But that's my point. I didn't find out until later. But in the beginning, everybody talks about vetting a person in the beginning. I thought I did. She checked all of the boxes. But you don't know until you're in closer proximity with a person, which is my point.
You can be in close proximity and not live with them.
I'm combating people who say this vetting stuff, which doesn't work, because who you are right now is not who you were 10 years ago. And 10 years before that, somebody different. So,
if I get married today at 45, I ain't gonna be the same person at 55 married. Right, so that's
my point. So that whole, not like I hear guys saying, "Oh, you didn't do something right," or "You didn't vet her right." It doesn't matter.
No, it does matter.
No, what I'm saying it doesn't matter is because that person is going to change.
Everybody's, whether you live with them or not, it's going to change.
I'm not talking about living with them right now. I'm just saying a person is going to change no matter what. So if you meet somebody on year 1 and you do all of this vetting, it doesn't matter 10 years from now because that person is going to be somebody totally different.
They shouldn't be that different. Is what I'm saying. They don't. That's metamorphosis. That's not growth. You shouldn't be that different.
I didn't
you
say
are
it was
who you
growth.
are at your core.
It's change, whatever you call it, it's change, and people change.
Right, but it's like that change should be like from going from wearing red all the time to wearing green all the time, not being no completely different. No, that's bull.
It's up to the person. Everybody has their choice to do what they want to do. So some people change a little bit, some people change drastically. It's up to the individual. My thing is you can't predict that thing is going to happen and how it's going to happen.
You have indicators. You have indicators.
Not all the time. You don't. You just don't.
Yeah.
Some people can just surprise you and be somebody totally different than you thought they were. You like, damn, I thought you was this, and you totally shocked me. I never saw this coming. That can happen. Does it happen every time? No, but it can happen. That's what I'm saying.
Now you sound like these hyenas dealing in rainbows and wishes instead of probability.
No, I'm not. You can't. How can you have a probability on the unknown?
It shouldn't be. That's what I'm saying. It shouldn't be that unknown.
But it is an unknown.
It shouldn't be completely
just by nature of what it is. You don't know what somebody is going to do 5 years from now. That's an unknown.
You should have an indication. Their previous behavior should give you an indication.
Not always. People change and they do different things.
No, that's what they was in the beginning. If you go completely against what you was, that's who you was in the damn beginning. No.
A person might have been in college.
No.
A person might be going to college at 18 years old. And by the time they graduate, they decide to do something completely different. They had a career path that they have been working on for 4 years.
That's a career. That's not who your career is. Not who you are.
Listen, I'm using this as an example. So
it doesn't relate.
You decided to go a certain path. You structured your life. You were living a certain way. And then a few years down the road, you got more information and you decided, I don't want to do this thing no more. I want to go a completely different direction. The person who met you at 18 had no way of predicting that you was going to make that decision at 21. They have no way of knowing. It's an unknown.
You're talking about a career. You still would pursue whatever you decided to do later on with the same zeal you had back in the beginning. Is my point? No.
I could use a lot of metaphors.
I'm sorry. No.
It's the same thing.
It's not.
I can use a lot of things.
It is not. It is not. I do at 45. I do some of the same shit I did when I was 18
you're not
years
doing
old.
everything
I'm sorry.
the same. But you're not doing
but the majority of it I am.
But it's
not more yes than no.
It's not
so but it hasn't made me a completely different person. So no.
So you think you're the same person you was at 18?
Not completely, but for the most part, yeah.
Completely. It's a yes or no. Are you?
That's not. Nobody's the same person. Exactly. But people who knew me back when I was 18 can predict some of the stuff I'm doing today because I did it back then. Is my point.
But I'm sure you've made
because they know me.
I'm sure you've. Made
I ain't that different. So I ain't completely. I ain't completely different at 45 than I was at 18.
I didn't say you would be completely, totally.
You
alien.
just said it 5 minutes ago.
You're going to make completely different decisions that you would have at 18.
Some of them
because
know.
You have information now that you didn't have then.
Some of them know.
So a person that who knew you at 18, I'm sure there was things you've done today in today's world that they had no idea was coming. That's human nature. So you can't vet a person for future based on probability on the unknown.
Yes, you can.
You can't do that.
Yes, you can.
Especially if you're not interacting with a person regularly.
If you ain't that what the courting process is for? To interact with them regularly?
Well, we don't court no more. We haven't courted in our lifetimes.
Well, see, that's part of vetting. It's courting.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Courting is something.
That is what the courting process is for. That is what that's for.
The courting
to make
process
sure
is not you vetting. It's somebody vetting for you. That's the difference.
No.
Courting process, the family's vetted. That's
the courting starts after they done vetted.
But they vetted initially before a man could even approach a woman at the time when they're courting. Dad or mom had to vet that person ahead.
And the vetting is to get to know them and find out how they flow. Is what that is.
It's to qualify the person up front. But my point is,
so what do you think they're qualifying?
Because we don't do that today.
That's the problem.
We don't do. I agree. I'm not talking about what the problem. I'm talking about the way
you talking about skip all of that and be living together. You don't need that.
What I said is, before you marry a person, you should live with them for some period of time.
Nope.
That's what I said.
Nope. You're not gonna play
because you're never gonna know that person.
We ain't. Nope.
And this is why 80% of divorces happen, or 56%.
No.
Because people aren't getting to know each other. See, at the time of vetting and courting, we lived in closer communities. So you were closely knitted with a person locally.
Yeah, but you wasn't living with them.
I didn't say that. Just listen. Your family had ties to their family. It was more locally. Now a person can marry somebody from across the world. You have access to people that you didn't have.
That's a problem.
I agree that it's a problem. I'm not saying whether it's a problem or not. I'm just saying this is what it is. So what worked 50, 60 years ago, even more, 70, ain't flying in today's world, because the world is not set up that way. It just ain't set up that way. So that means we got to operate differently based on today's world.
Okay, and that living together shit ain't working either.
Let's say a year. You're dating a guy for a year.
Mm-hmm.
And everything is going good. He he's steady job, pretty decent guy. He is what he says he is. And then all of a sudden y'all decide to get married. And then now you're bringing your finances. You don't know what kind of finances he got. You don't know. You know what he's told you, but you don't
get all that together before you get down the aisle.
Huh?
You're supposed to get all that together before you get down the aisle.
Who's doing that?
That's why they shit failing. That's why they shit failing.
Nobody, because that's the environment we're in today. Nobody does those things.
This environment thing, I'm not operating like that.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the majority of people.
That's why they shit failing. That's why they calling me crying, because this done went up in smoke. And I'm like, I told you.
I agree. I get the same calls and I ask these questions. Well, did you check this out ahead of time? Did you check that? And that's when I get into these vetting conversations. How did you vet this woman when you never looked at her credit score? You never asked her, did she have any student loan debt? You never asked the important questions, but I get these tough guys telling me about this vetting. What did you vet?
Nothing.
What did you see with your own eyes?
But I've said that from the jump. Y'all don't know. Folks don't know how to vet, and that's because you ain't got no damn family.
And before you
gotta go back to that, you ain't got no family, so you don't know how to vet.
Before your shit was in order. No. So I'm like, how are you vetting her for stuff that you ain't even vetted your own self on? Like that
because they was busy watching Fresh and Fit, and they feel like they know something. See, this is my point. we going back. Y'all out here fucking counterfeiting.
Well, I mean, and I tell you that's the problem I have with the manosphere. You have a lot of young guys on here.
You really think I'm gonna be able to show up with some dude that don't live nowhere around here that I known for a year, and you think Jeff going for that? We getting married? No, you ain't. No, you ain't. No, you ain't. You think Granddaddy going for that? Many questions that he asked. No. Who you? It's gonna be a complete dossier. We gonna know stuff he ain't even know. No. You get rung up, dude. That's what it is. You getting rung up. Your social getting rung up. Your credit score getting rung up. Your mama's credit score. Everybody getting rung up. Everybody social. You getting rung up.
Like I'll use Milton and Dana as example. They're a perfect example. Milton was living in Ruby. Dana was living up there in Cleveland. They met playing the PlayStation, Call of Duty. That's how they met. So they had known each other for quite a while. They had been playing the Call of Duty together for like 2 years. And then they started to get serious. So he would go up there to Cleveland to see her regularly. And then they decided, okay, we're going to take this to the next step. So then he moved to Cleveland. And they got to know each other even more. And they're doing fine now. They got married after that. Beautiful wedding. He got to know her side of the family, her dad, her mom. Her mom and dad are separated, but they live all in Cleveland, so he got to interact with them. Her friends, and they all got to check him out. And they're doing very well now.
Didn't you say he was simping?
No, Clint is simping.
Okay.
Oh my God. Yeah, Clint is the one. That's his older brother. Clint is the one that's simping, but Milt is doing good. Milt is doing good. And I think she was what he needed. And Kevin used to talk about this, and a lot of other guys, with the woman is supposed to be an inspiration. And I tried to tell this to the Graces. We were on Jay's network one night, and I want to be an inspiration to a man. Okay, but you can't force
you speaking. That sound like ego right there already.
Right, you trying to force it on a man. I said that's your problem. Inspiration to a man. You may be a man's inspiration and not even know it. That's the way it's supposed to work. The man admires the quality of you, and it makes him want to do better. Not because you're forcing something down his throat, you know. And that's what the Graces. Well, it was always I'm gonna bring him his peace. No, that's not what men want. Men want you to leave them the fuck alone and don't interrupt their peace. He don't want you bringing him peace. He should already have peace. Just don't interrupt it. And I used the movie Not Easily Broken to use that as an example for what I was talking about. And Morris Chestnut's character, Dave, his peaceful place where he would go in his little man cave and listen to his music. That's how he got peace. And also he got peace from coaching the baseball team with the boys. Because he always wanted to be a father. So though that baseball thing was real important for him, coaching the boys. What did Taraji's character always do? She was always trying to find a way to interrupt it. Constantly. She always complained about him. You're always with them damn boys, and you're always doing this, and it was always a complaint about him going to you're always listening to them damn records, and you won't talk to me. And she was interrupting his peace.
Yeah, I was sick of her 5 minutes into that movie.
And then she brought the mama in, and now he got it times 2 now. She got it times 2. Dave was a good man. By all definitions of that phrase, he fit the category. He fit it. 6 foot, dark skin, muscular. He had his own little business. He was good with kids. He wasn't cheating on her. He fit it, and she was still unhappy. But that's what I was trying to explain to the Graces that night. You know, stop trying to bring a man peace. Just don't interrupt his peace. A man is going to find a peaceful place on his own. It may be watching TV, watching baseball, whatever sport he likes. It may be out cutting grass, whatever is his peaceful place. Leave him the hell alone. Let him do it. That's how he clears his head. I'm going to do this for him. I'm going to do that for him. No, that's going to be aggravating. Coming home, telling him about your day every damn day and about every problem you ran into. That ain't peaceful to us. But they weren't understanding it. But that's why they damn near 50 years old and single. Because they don't get it. They still trying to. I think some women, they create problems that they have to in turn go fix. The old men,
that's
like
not what we do is fix problems.
And older, they got a saying: if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But they want to fix shit that ain't broke. They always want to create problems that they got to go fix. Ain't nobody asked you to do that. And then when the shit go wrong, they want to come back and complain. But that's what Taraji was doing throughout that whole movie. And she almost lost her husband because of it.
That's why I listened to her mama.
Listening to her mama. But
he lost her man behind some foolishness.
Now Clint, well, damn it, I hate using names, but he ain't ever gonna hear this. He got married to that woman before he ever lived with her. And then now he's a simp in his own house. Because he thought he was marrying one person and he didn't realize who he was really marrying. And he found out after the fact. I just think you need to be even if you ain't living with a person full time, like you still got your own house. Say, let's take you for example. You come here, you come to me tomorrow, I'm like, yo, V, I met a dude. I've been seeing him for the past couple of months. Everything going good. I think I want to take it to the next step. And he asked me to come stay with him. All right. I'll be like, go ahead and stay with him. I'm gonna hold the house down for you. Go ahead and stay with him. You always know you got home to come back to. Go still try it out. Or stay with him 3 days a week. Do that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. I can roll with that. But yeah, you packing up all your. No, yeah.
I ain't saying pack up all your shit.
I can do that. I see that's my mind frame. Yeah, you kick it. I'm gonna kick it at your house a couple of nights a week. You kick it at my house a couple of nights a week. Yeah, right. But I mean, you still need to have your own because you can't.
Yeah, I'm not saying give up your own shit.
Yeah, I'm just saying you need to spend some time. That ain't living together. That's extended.
You need to spend some time waking up to that man a few.
Yeah, that's extended visiting. That ain't living together. Okay.
And maybe I use the wrong verbiage. Okay, I'll go with that.
Yeah, I can rock so extended visiting
during that first year that before you get married.
Yeah, I can. Yeah,
you want to see things you ain't never seen before,
right?
And things that he was trying to hide from you. He might be super messy, or he may be a neat freak. Maybe he's a neat freak, like, and you be like, damn, I didn't know you was like a neat freak. Like, that might bother you,
right?
Like the nigga's hands is all facing in the same direction, and the man he a man with decorative towels in the bathroom. Like what? That shit might irk you.
Yeah, so I can work with that.
Those are the things you got to spend time with a person, man. You got to, and I think that's where a lot of relationships go off the rails, and they fall in love with their representative and not the real person. And maybe his shit works for you. Maybe his dysfunctional shit works with your dysfunctional shit, and y'all match perfectly. That shit might work out. He hates to cook. He hates to cook, and you love to cook. Guess what? Y'all match. Y'all match perfectly. He likes to iron clothes, and you hate ironing clothes. Y'all niggas match. Little shit like that that'll never come up in a conversation. That kind of shit.
Yeah, yes, yeah. I can work with that. I can work.
Those are the little kind of things. That. Like, damn, I like this person even more now, or y'all find out y'all got the same fetish and shit. That nigga's eating cookies and shit. And like, nigga, I ain't know you know about the insomnia cookies. Yeah, man, that's my spot. Word. Like, I never knew it. That was my thing, Nah, we doing that together now, Little shit, it'd be the little shit that you like. You'd find out that you like about a person, or that shit that you just can't deal with. Like this nigga leave the toothpaste in the shower or something. Like New Yorkers do that. New Yorkers like usually brush their teeth in the shower. That's like a New York shower.
Yeah.
And that shit might bother you. Like, I can't do it. No, you got to stop doing that. I can't take it,
It's too much. It'd be too much.
It's too much for me. But shit, that would never come up in the conversation because if he's a New Yorker, he's been doing it all his life. He don't even know he's doing it. So it would never come up in the conversation. You would have to see it. Why are you always leaving the toothpaste in the shower? Done everybody? No, everybody doesn't do that. That's only normal. No other city I've ever seen anybody do that shit. Only in New York City. But that's why I think people go wrong. And that's what Derrick, to me, was describing. Him and the girl was just hooking up all of them 2 or 3 years that they had before they went to Atlanta. And then he had this need that he wanted to be a family man. And fuck it, I already got her. She already got my baby coming. I might as well go ahead and marry her, kind of thing. And sometimes it could be simple. Men, you don't have to be the complete package for a man. You could just have one thing a man really likes. It may be your face. It might be your eye color. You might have green eyes. A nigga just in love with your green eyes. It could be your lips. You got pretty lips. It could be your ass, your titties. It could be anything. It could be any one thing that keeps that man with you. That's how men are. Men don't have to have like 10 out of 8 or 9 out of 8 things or 9 out of 10 things. It could just be one thing that they
You should
keyed
tell
in.
it to these new Negroes.
But that's where they go wrong, because usually the most important thing is your behavior. And I don't care what you look like. If your behavior is off, or you ain't behaving the way the man expects you to behave, that's going to be the problem. It ain't going to be how you look. And you can look at all these celebrity marriages. These are gorgeous people. Why are they having problems? Because of the behavior. Jada Pinkett ain't ugly. She's gorgeous. What's her problem? Her behavior. What problem is Steph Curry having right now with his girl? Her behavior. It ain't her look. She's gorgeous. It's always the behavior. So your looks will get old real quick. That's why I tell women, stop focusing on your looks so much. Because that'll get you in the door. But your behavior is how you want to stay there. Or it's going to cause problems later. But see, back in the day with our grandparents' generation, they had to fight through that. They didn't have the options that we have today. You know, they had to fight through that. You know, whether they liked each other or not. They might not have liked each other for 20 years, and they stayed together for 60, though. But some of this stuff is just unpredictable. You can't know it. I mean, you can ask basic stuff, you know, job history. Like if you get with a woman and then later on you complain, well, she won't work. Well, was she working when you met her?
Right.
Where was she working when you met her? How long had she been working? You know, well, she had unstable job history when you met her. Why did you expect that to change?
Exactly.
That's the vetting. That's basic stuff. You know, but if somebody flat out pretends to be, oh, I've been on my job 10 years and I got a stable career, and then they get with you and all of a sudden they want to quit their job. Like, wait a minute. That ain't what I agreed to. When I met you, you were working. You know? You never told me you wanted to not work. I never told you I was able to afford for you to stay home. That wasn't our plan, you know. And then even the staying home thing may be temporary. Like again, usually women to stay home until the baby goes to kindergarten. You know, because it's cheaper for her to stay home than it is for daycare, right? So I understand that. It's just dollars and cents. But now the baby is in school. Why are you staying home now?
Right.
Like, I need you to get back to work. I've been covering these bills for 5 years. I need some help now. You know, we got to, you know, get back right financially. But then the woman switches up. Now, I don't want to work no more. You didn't see that coming. You didn't know. I don't want to work no more. You never had a conversation about it ever. Or the dude does something different, you know? Dudes will switch up on you, you know? All of a sudden, he want a younger woman, you know? Like, wait a minute. When you got with me, you knew I was 45. You ain't had no problem with it. You know I wasn't going to turn into a 25-year-old. I'm already 45. Now we done been together 5 years and it's a problem. I was 45 5 years ago. Now I'm 50. What's the problem? I'm still, you know, but you got guys that flip up. Now he may have always wanted a younger woman, but he never told her that. in his mind, the whole time he wanted to be with a younger woman, but he never told that to her. You know, guys are petty. They're opportunistic. So guys will usually go with the woman who makes themselves available to him. Most guys ain't like Derrick Jaxn where they got a selection where they could choose from. Most men have to go with the women who make themselves available to them, to that man. But I don't know, man. But I heard a lot of stuff in this conversation. And sometimes I know in my experience, she pretended to be somebody until we got married. And then once we got married, now her true colors showed. And here's the real me now. And it didn't even come out like wham bam all at once. It seeped out slowly. And, you know, it caught me off guard, you know. Then all of a sudden, I say about 10 years in, the floodgates open. But before that, I mean, it was pretty consistent. But like I said, once I got married, it was, now I got him where I want him. I could really show who I am, kind of thing. That was the vibe I got.
Okay.
But from 98 to I would say the first 3 years to 2001, late 2001, things was pretty good. And then 2001 rolled in, man. Late 2001 rolled in, and her true colors really showed. Started to show anyway. But again, I was 20, 21 or whatever I was, and I didn't know then what I know now, you know. I got access to more information that I wish I had. That's why I try to share it with people, what I've learned. But these young guys who don't have no experience, who are in the manosphere, they just talk in theory. They don't talk things from experience. Oh, I dated a woman, and nigga, you ain't even been in a 5-year relationship. Why are you speaking? You ain't married, and you ain't been with her 5 years. So why are you telling me you know how to vet women? You don't know nothing yet. You ain't been through nothing. You've been with her for 5 years. You ain't even found out why she really with you at this point. You lying to yourself still. Oh, I sexed her down good, and niggas lie to themselves. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. But they lie to themselves, man. And then they want to go share them lies with other men, with younger men or the same age men, like they some experts. Where is your work? That's what Kevin said. Show your work. Let's see it. Obsidian says the same thing. You got to get in this ring with the gladiators. Let's see what you got. And they can't do it. And they get mad at me when I jump on a panel with their asses and I go the hell off on them. Oh, you so angry. No, I'm not angry at all. Y'all are just stupid. And you're hurting other men, younger men, because they listening to some of y'all. Don't know what you're talking about. Just clean. I mean, not even a clue. I could be wrong. I could be opinionated. But at least I got some experience where I can at least justify some of the things I'm saying. You listen to these niggas, these ninjas, you like, what's your experience? None. They ain't worked nowhere for no period of time. They ain't been on a job 10 years. They ain't been in a relationship 10 years. I'm like, okay, you're 32. You got over 10. So that means from 18 to 28 is 10 years. Plus 4. You got 14 years you've been an adult. Where is your experience at? And they can't tell you. But you let them talk. They've been doing it for 20, 30 years. But when you actually do the math, from 18 to 28, again, it's 10 years. You only been in a 1-year relationship. Why are you out here trying to give people advice? And then when you break down the relationship, it wasn't a relationship. They was just hooking up with a chick during that year.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it was. It was just hookups. Ain't never even been on a date with a woman, because then you start breaking down that. Well, what restaurant you go to? And you took her there? That's what you call a date? Like, really? Ain't no nice restaurants. Atlanta is full of them. Atlanta is full of them. Charlotte is full of them. I mean, most major cities have nice restaurants that above your average Applebee's, Chili's kind of place.
Right.
So you've been dating this chick for a year and you ain't never took her no place nicer than Chili's? What? And you listen to the stupid shit they say, and it just don't add up. It don't add up. I don't get it. I don't.
They don't get it either. And that'd be the problem.
That's why I haven't been doing so many panels lately because it's just frustrating. The last panel I really did extensively, other than you, I was with AM. Me and AM talked for about 3 hours. And after I talked to him and I was saying, you know, some of the things I said to him, I was saying, damn, I got to check myself on it. Why do I get into these conversations with these idiots? Why am I still doing it? I don't know. And you said it to me too. Why are you even talking to them? You've said it to me, you know. Death Notice said it to me. Why are you even talking to them? You know.
Right, so some folks AM don't need to be talking to if you ask me. Folk he need to straight dissociate from.
Well, what I hate what they do with him what they did with Kevin and they do with others. And they try to put words in his mouth that he didn't say. And I'm like, he didn't say that. I listened to him enough to know I've never heard him say that thing. Actually, in fact, I've heard him say the opposite of that. You know, like I was talking to Lena on the panel last night, and she was calling Sister Ali a mammy. So all of the guys, Op was on last night too, by the way, Big Op, and he got it like kind of taken back by what she said too. What is a mammy? Because I don't understand. Women use words and they put their own definitions behind them. So I didn't know what she meant by a mammy. So some kind of way the definition that we were able to get was it means she caters to men or something. First of all, what's wrong with that? Second of all, why do you think that's what she was doing? Because her first book was to the women. And then she wrote a book about dietary needs for the community. And then she wrote the book about men, to men, the message to the black man or the black man's guide. Right? So how is that catering to the men when her first 2 books weren't even about men? Even in her book, The Black Man's Guide to the Black Woman, she's not telling women how to cater to men. That's not what the book is about.
That's not. Well, so that's because she ain't read the book and she heard somebody say that. So
that's what I told her. And so what she said was she said some quote, well, Sister Shahrazad Ali says a man should be able to cheat on a woman or something. I said, no, she did not. That is not, I guarantee that's not what she said. Sure enough, because I've never heard the quote, and I guess maybe she was misquoting it. But Op understood what she was talking about. So Op told her exactly what the context was. So Sister Ali was saying the context when we were on the continent of Africa was different because there wasn't monogamy over there. It wasn't expected over there the way it is over here. That was the context she was trying to put it in. She wasn't saying, oh, men should be able to cheat on women. She was just saying there was no monogamy in Africa. That's way different than men could just cheat on women.
Yeah.
But you're taking it out of context because you heard Cynthia G or somebody else take it out of context and you repeated it. Because I asked her, send me the clip. If you've heard this, send me the clip so I can see it for myself. Because I don't believe you. I don't believe you're quoting it correctly or in context. You know? I think here's what I think about that topic. And I'm never, this is going to be a first. I've never talked about this. Do I think, because Kevin said high value men have an option. They don't cheat, they have options. I agree and disagree with that at the same time. Here's where I agree. Yes, they do have options that other men don't have. Yes, that is true. However, If you put yourself as a high value man in a committed relationship with a woman, you've given up that option. No, it's not okay for you just to cheat on a woman you committed to, because you signed a contract, brother. You went into this relationship. You had to sign a contract twice, matter of fact. You had to go get your marriage certificate. Then you had to sign it again after the marriage ceremony. That's 2 times you signed it. You knew willingly what you were doing. Now, if you wanted to be like that, write your own marriage vows and have your wife agree to them. You can be able to cheat, and you say that in front of her daddy and her mama at the wedding.
If that's how they go down.
But if you're going with the standard marriage vows, that suggests monogamy. You're with her, and you can't just cheat on her when you want to because you got some money. I'm sorry.
Right, because you need to be exercising some discipline. So
that's why I disagree. Okay. Now, if you want to have multiple women, don't get married. We got a plan for that too. Go see Coach Greg Adams and sign up for the free.
For real. Yes, sir.
That's what you can do. I'm not against that either. If you can live that lifestyle, then do it. Go on down to the Junco and you do that every day.
Well, that shit easier said than done.
So, but don't get married. Because once you get married, you're saying
that's it.
Else.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
That's the problem I had with what Kevin said. I understand what he was trying to say. Yes, high value men have options, but once you negotiate that contract, you're giving up your options. You're giving them up. You can't straddle the fence. It's either you on this side with your wife or you on that side by yourself. Which one?
Is you ain't. Yep.
You can't play both games. That's not fair to her. And if she did it to you, you would be out here boo-hooing. So if we want women to operate a certain way as men, we have to operate a certain way. Whether or not they do it, it doesn't matter what they do. You got to have a code as a man. True. Otherwise, why do we even get married? Why do we even sign a marriage certificate? Why do we do those things if it means nothing? Why do we go get a driver's license? Why do we do any of that stuff? Because that's the other thing people going to say, oh, I don't want the government in my business. Bullshit. The government is all in your business.
Always in your business.
Always.
Again, if you handle shit correctly, then you ain't got to worry about the government being in your business.
If you drive a car, the government regulates that. If you live in an apartment or a house, whether you own it or lease it or rent it, the government is in your business. That's all regulated by the government. If you buy a product from a store, that is regulated by the government. So if you don't want to be regulated by the government with these, I don't believe marriage people, then take your ass out into the woods somewhere and you go live in a tent or in a hut and off the grid somewhere. And live under your own.
Because you said because the land and you out there in the park and all that shit's regulated by the government too.
I'm just saying that's the least you're gonna get to it. Or take your ass down into Mexico and move out there in the middle of the desert some damn place. I don't know. I don't know where. I mean, you got some parts of the country that are unincorporated, as they call it. Usually you see this like in West Virginia. Up there in coal mining country, you got the town. It'll say the town name. You're now entering this town, and then underneath it, it was in the parentheses. It'll say unincorporated. That means the government is not regulating that town.
That ain't no way you want to be. No.
So guess what? You can go up there to West Virginia, live the hell up there off the grid somewhere. Live up there with the coal miners, and you do it your way. But guess what? That means you can't get paid in no money either. So how people gonna pay you? You just gonna be on a barter system? You gonna trade goods? Because as soon as you trade money, the government is in control of that. Ain't it government tender? In God we trust. Ain't that the government?
It is.
Right, exactly. So I call them people hypocrites. I don't want to get married because I don't want the government in my. The government is always in your business. There's no way to avoid it unless you move off the grid into an unincorporated town. And barely, like you pointed out, even barely then. Because they could come into an unincorporated town and incorporate it real quick if they see fit.
Mm-hmm.
They can go into a rural area in what is it? What do they call that shit? Right of pathway, or they tried to do that down there on the Texas border to Mexico when Trump wanted to build his fence. They was taking people's land from them.
Oh yeah, right of domain.
Right of domain, eminent domain, or whatever that is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they can do that anywhere. So hell, the United States can do that anywhere in the world if you want to be technical. If they got something over there in Africa or in some other third world country that America wants, they will go get it.
Mm-hmm.
And ain't nobody gonna stop them from doing it. Maybe you should get a boat. Maybe these non-marriage live out in the international waters.
No, because the waters, it's still somebody looking at them waters. So
yeah, it'll be international maritime law at that point, where all of the governments agreed on it. So now you ain't under one government, you under all of them.
Mm-hmm. Foolishness.
I don't understand. You know, people just say things, they hear things, and they say that's the same thing the niggas 20 years ago was talking about. The sovereign niggas that wanted, I'm sovereign. First of all, to be sovereign, you have to originate from a country. What country does your black ass come from?
From somewhere.
Where did you come from, sir? Because for you to be sovereign, that means you have to be from an origin, a country that has a treaty with the United States to make you sovereign. So if that didn't happen, they wake up tomorrow and say, "Oh, I'm sovereign." It don't work out that way. But that's that jailhouse shit that niggas learn in jail. No, tell them you sovereign. When you go to the judge, tell them you sovereign. And where most of them niggas at? Still in jail.
Jail.
The judge throw their ass right back in jail.
Like, oh, you ain't got nowhere to go. Oh, go ahead, stay here.
Yeah, I think, Mr. Jones, you need another 30 days to think about what you're saying to me. I'm going to send you back to yourself.
For real. Go ahead.
Well, but my point being is we just repeat stuff. And the psychobabble, I started with bipolar. That was the first one. Now everybody's depressed, everybody's stressed, everybody has anxiety, postpartum depression, ADHD, AHD, all of those 50 acronyms. Everybody. But when you look at the amount of people, especially in our community, who actually goes and seeks mental health treatment of any kind, it's less.
That ain't what's wrong with them.
It's less than 10%. And of those 10% who actually get diagnosed, the number one diagnoses for black women is schizophrenia.
It's schizophrenia.
And they're going to say, oh, that's the same thing. No, it's not.
No, it ain't.
No, it's not. You can be bipolar without being schizophrenic. And you can be schizophrenic without being bipolar. One is not the other. They're two different things. But they diagnose themselves. And I told you, that's why I said earlier, that started with WebMD. People started reading the symptoms and that's me. That's me. No, that's not you.
That's you. Sit down.
You just don't want to be accountable. There's nothing wrong with you. You just don't want to be wrong and you don't like it. You're not depressed. You don't have anxiety. You just are not responsible for your actions.
Right. See, that shit work for white people because then they go get them drugs. So you say they can mimic them symptoms. We don't get no drugs.
Well, if you got enough money, you're gonna get the drugs now.
So black people don't get medication on enough, white people don't care how much they
you got enough money, they ain't gonna turn away no good prescription, man. As long as your insurance is still in the motherfuckers, they will write it. They will write them shits all night long. You best believe that.
They're all right. We're gonna be for some bullshit.
Now, only time they don't want to keep you in the hospital or write you a prescription is when you ain't got no good insurance. Hold on, man. Go ahead and talk about it. I'll be right back.
No, I'm about to wrap this up. Let me stop. I'm here making a mess. About to cut these glasses out of here. Let me stop playing with that. See what happens when you get held to a craft knife. Start making up stuff to do. Let me quit. All right, y'all, because we knocking on 4 hours. It's almost, but it is 2:30. I appreciate each and every one of y'all stopping by. I appreciate all of the support, both your time and financially. I will be back later on since we are on in the next day. I will be back later on today. We will take on part 2 of this. I also got a couple videos I'm going to drop. So once again, thanks everyone for the support. Like, share, and subscribe if you have not. This is Almond Eye 78, and I will see each and every one of you later on. You guys have a great day.